Well, hello, Prof. How are you doing?
Hey, everybody, and hey, Silky.
Hey, everybody. You
Happy
can highlight
Tuesday.
these too, can't you? Go all the way up to the hello. You know what? I'm just going to start naming them, and you can highlight whoever you want to.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
let's do it together. Yeah.
Hello, Amy. Hello, Monday. Court of Public Opinion. Good to see ya. Adrian, hey there, girl. Hey, by the way, Adrian, I didn't mean to cut off our conversation. Like I lost my brains there, and then I was embarrassed. I'm like, she's gonna think I'm a nut job. So I was like, I'm not gonna call her back now. Go ahead, take it, Prof. Let me make a quick announcement, okay? My county is under a tornado warning. So if I turn the camera off and the mic off and I disappear for a second, Prof's still with you. I am going over to the TV to see if it's going to hit my house, okay? Basically. Or running under the stairs. Who knows? Okay, Prof, it's yours.
Oh, yeah, we're praying for Silky that she doesn't get tornado while we're on the stream because she's got bad weather.
Yeah.
What's up, Silence, J Rabbit, Carla Ann, Mark Ellis, Mary Beth Yema, Sweet Dude Shibby, Nancy Drew 101. I want to put her up there with all the pretty little flowers and stuff. Nancy Drew 101. And Dieter. Hey, Dieter. And we got Deb here. Heather Brown. I don't know if you want to take over. Go ahead.
I don't know where you're at because I'm looking at the weather. I just had a new alert.
Moonbeam 70s Child, Lisa, Carol, Scott, Deb, Mino Dino, artist formerly known. Uh, oof.
Hello, artist. And here's Sachi to mess up my camera.
Oh, there you go, Kitty. Mark Ellis, how are you? Mark Ellis says, hi, Mino. All right, we got Butterfly Kisses, Goddess. Hey, Goddess. Rhonda Holton. Hey, Rhonda. Um, I don't know. Samantha Springman, Rebecca Ann, 1965.
Hey, Samantha.
Gene Jackson. Adrian. Hey, Adrian. Okay, we got I am says Heather. Hey, Heather. Okay.
I lost where you're
Oh, I
at.
see Heavy Metal Rehab. We got Kate U. And Nancy says we got storms coming too. All right.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's so still here. That's what makes me a little bit afraid. There's no wind, there's no nothing. It is
Calm before the
still.
storm. Yeah.
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 Did we miss anybody?
I'm still looking. Snoop Sleuth, just me. Okay, just me says, I want to put this up there. Just love it when you guys do a live together. This one sounds good. Yeah. Look
Yes.
at my partner in crime.
Hey, and let me tell you a little secret. When we get done talking about what we're talking about, Prof and I are going to have a candid discussion on our thoughts on Delphi. Um, it's not about the case; it's more about how it's changed us. So we're gonna just talk, pick each other's brains, maybe.
I like
So stay
Ryan
tuned
Hall
for
and
that.
Max
You don't want to miss
Velocity.
that.
I agree. Okay. Old Mort, New Mort, hello to you. So everybody, listen, this is difficult when Silky and I do a live
For
because we're
kids.
trying to share the background of a platform and it's not the easiest thing, but we're trying here. So if
Yeah,
I
and
missed you, apologize.
yeah, probably most of the chat is on Prof's channel. Some of it's on mine. I don't know if you said hey to Four Pits, uh,
Oh,
but
what's up, Four Pits? Yeah.
hey, Four Pits.
What's up, I am? They're still
Oh,
coming in. Huh?
yeah, that's good. That's good. Let me ask you this, Prof. Have you been keeping up with the P Diddy trial?
A little bit. Mm, I don't want to give away anything, but yeah, I've been planning on taking a look at it, but just a little bit. And I'm kind of torn about it, to be honest with you.
Really?
Yeah, what's up,
Okay.
Rebby Lee?
I'm not. I watched a little bit today, but I already knew because I've watched the testimonies of a lot of the people that have been on TikTok and YouTube and stuff. So everything that they're saying in the trial is not a surprise. So I'm not really following that close because, but I may cover it. Uh,
Hmm. It's to be expected. I mean, they've been talking about it for years, but I don't know, man. It's a tough one. I mean, I'd say this: I'd much rather see a Rico come down in other cases,
oh yeah.
you know, as a priority. But
I don't know. I think the P Diddy is going to be bigger than what we thought.
hmm
From what I've heard in the you know around the sources, um, there are going to be a lot of figures that play into this that are not in the music industry. So we'll see. But it gets into a lot of maybe what we're going to cover tonight too, something similar, the darkest of the dark. So if y'all are watching that, you already know it's been more than hinted at some of the ritualistic things that are going on or that Diddy was involved in.
yeah, and y'all, I have to tell you, some of what we're covering tonight is so dark you don't even want to hear it. I literally had to go through some things and heavily redact. That's how bad it is. And it's bad when you have to heavily redact a court filing.
Yeah.
It means things went on that were beyond comprehension. You know.
Yeah, there's a lot of, well, even in the Diddy trial, there's a lot of stuff that was said that has to be redacted, and it's the same thing. I know I am very familiar with a lot of stuff, so I try not to cover all the time. I limit myself on how many times I'm gonna. So we may be talking in code sometimes. Y'all have to like read between the lines. YouTube is very particular about what we say.
But you know me, I just plow through and I just
I
take the lick
know,
when
I know you do, Prof.
I'm trying not to ruin Silky's channel.
He has no cares to give. It's just like whatever. He thinks it comes out of his mouth.
Sorry. I have
Hmm,
a problem with that.
that's
Let's
fine.
see. So everybody, thank you for coming in. Listen, if we happen to miss you, apologize. Just keep being annoying in the chat and we might say, "Hey, heads up, we want to say hi to someone." But
Yeah.
we should dive right in because boy, do we have
Hey.
some things to talk about.
All right. Let
Um,
me move the cat. I'm sorry, baby. You got to go.
and guys, I'll sort of be navigating the first round of this, and we'll let Silky
No.
navigate the second round. Is everyone good with that?
Okay. Oh, you can navigate them all because I am, like I said, I did read through this. It is dark. I read, but I was reading with one eye and watching my weather with the other. So I feel a little bit inept, honestly, to navigate. So take it, Prof. You got it.
All right. Oh, Elizabeth Jones says, "You missed me and I've stayed awake, especially for you too." Okay. Well, Elizabeth, we know that you're somewhere else and it's already probably 3 a.m. at your place or
Oh
something. So we
wow.
want to say God
Hello.
bless and thank you so much for staying up. And you can always catch that replay tomorrow. We will leave it up. So
Yeah.
thank you so
Absolutely.
much, Elizabeth. And we just love you. And Scotland, I believe it is for Elizabeth.
Oh hey, there's low light. Hey low light.
Hey,
Hope you're
Lowlight. And
doing good.
Rebby Lee says, somehow I was unsubscribed and forgot you, a little prof. So glad to catch you and Silky. Thank you both for the work and sharing with us. You are both appreciated. I look forward to this live. Thank you, Rebby Lee. I'm so glad
Good.
for you to come into the channel and resubscribe. People get unsubscribed on it without their own doing. So,
Oh
and
yeah.
there's Lowlight. Has anyone heard how Heather Brown is doing? She's in here. All right. So let's see. Oh, there's Silent G coming in with the bomb drop. Order of 9 O9A 764 cult. I infiltrated them on Discord and got caught. Very scary.
Ooh, I would love
Yeah,
to hear
yeah.
that
We
story.
need to talk about that in the email, bro. Okay. All right. So let me remove this crap. Hold on. I'm trying to. It gets in my face here. All right. So y'all, I'm gonna read. We have a lot of reading in the first half of the show. So hey, don't strain your eyes. Let me do the reading for you, and you can relax and listen. And then the second half of the show, we'll do a lot of talking, but you can also listen.
There you go.
What's up, Oleg? Nobody, nothing. Everyone else coming in. Okay, appreciate it. All right, so let's get busy. And this says, now this, I want, what I'm trying to do here before we really get into it, I want to highlight two major, okay, what the subject matter is in the first half of the show is that we're going to highlight two major federal sting operations and indictments that happened, okay? And this first one here is from January 30th. So we're talking about this year, okay? So we're going to be covering two major online terror groups that have been targeting children. And we're going to be highlighting two major busts from this year. And these are both international sex trafficking uh, federal indictments. So this first one here is from January 30th. Okay. And this is called Four Members of Online Neo Fascist Group That Exploited Minors Charged with Producing Child Sexual Abuse Material. Okay. So what I'm going to try to do is get my little pointy. Let's see if I can manage it. If I can find my
Yeah.
my mouse. Where's my mouse? Okay, here we go.
Okay, there you go.
Can you
Um,
see my mouse
you
floating
know, I
around here?
didn't even hear about this is what bothers me though. This is from January 30th. I have not heard this till you sent me this article.
Yes, January 30th.
Wow.
And a lot of this is all of this flies under the radar because man, you don't want to cover this on the television. I mean, this is a lot of, like I said, I had to heavily redact some of what we're about to read. Um, but this says two men were arrested. Okay, says four members of online neo-Nazi group. Two men were arrested today, January 30th, on charges of participating in a neo skinhead child exploitation enterprise that groomed and then coerced. Now, this is all, I want you guys to realize that these terms are very important terms, okay? The specific language that's being used, these terms are very important, okay? And thank you everyone sending super chat. Sorry, I'm not going to read them at the moment, but I'll save them for later. Okay. It says these individuals both groomed, okay, and then coerced. So this is a process of grooming and then coercing minors to produce child sexual abuse material and images of self harm. And see, this is where it's next level because we're not just talking about pedophiles here. We're
Mhm.
not just talking about naked pictures, okay? Because what's happening in this process with these two cases we're going to read through today is they are grooming and then coercing minors to produce this CSAM, and then they're further uh, uh, what's the word? Extorting these minors with the nudes or the CSAM they've produced to then further coerce them into performing self harm. And this is
Mhm.
what's really alarming about this new wave of stuff we're seeing. And it says this group allegedly victimized at least 16 minors around the world. Okay. 16 minors around the world.
And I feel
Uh,
like that's just scratching the surface, really.
I'm sure it is. Remember, I believe often these are the ones they could identify, okay, and get an identity on. Um, who knows how many more that they had no ability to identify and be
Right.
able to confirm the ages. It says Colin John Thomas Walker of Bridgeton, New Jersey, and Clint Jordan Lapoca. I'm gonna try Nahuikaika Borge, 41 of
Woo!
Hawaii, were arrested this morning pursuant to a grand jury indictment. that charges them with one count of engaging in child exploitation enterprise. And that's an important term because that's a RICO, right?
Mhm.
They are expected to make their initial appearances in court later today in Jersey and Hawaii. Now it's going to go further. The indictment also charges two other defendants who are already in custody, and that's Rohan Sandeep Rane or Rain of Antibes, France, and Caleb Christopher Merritt of Spring, Texas. So notice the locations. We got
Yeah.
Jersey, Hawaii, France, and Texas. This indictment, returned by grand jury on Jan 17 and unsealed today, also charges Rain and Walker with one count of engaging in child exploitation. Here's a key term again: enterprise. According to the indictment, from at least 2019 to 2022, Rain, Walker, Merritt, and Borge were members of CULT, CVLT, an online group that espoused neo-Nazism, nihilism, and pedophilia. And what you're going to see, ladies and gentlemen, is this is a very common thing in this day and age. Okay, this co-mixture of neo-Nazism, nihilism, pedophilia. You're going to repeatedly see it, and trust me, we will be seeing more in these next years.
Oh yeah.
This is a new wave of online terror. But the neo-Nazism, nihilism, and pedophilia, as its core principles, members of this international enterprise, another word that's very important, okay, engaged in online child sexual exploitation offenses and trafficked CSAM. Rain, Walker, and Merritt acted as leaders and administrators in the cult enterprise, hosting and running cult online servers and controlling membership for the group. Cult members worked collectively to entice and coerce children. Again, specific language, okay? To produce CSAM on the platform run by cult members, where they groomed children for the eventual production of CSAM through various means of degradation, including exposing victims to extremist and violent content. Cult specifically targeted vulnerable victims. Now, this is another key aspect of this new wave that we're going to be learning about here is they are very much specifically targeting the vulnerable, okay? Which obviously is primarily indicated by the age, but also including one suffering from mental health challenges or a history of sexual abuse.
Does
Okay.
this article say where they find these children?
Well, you mean through the Discord servers and whatnot?
Well, I mean, is that where, or is it like internet? Like where? I guess I'm wondering how they, what specifically they use to target. I mean, it could be a lot of stuff, but
A lot of it, we'll be getting into that,
okay.
but primarily, there's Discord has been exploited highly, but also Telegram and these type of places where they can gather and they think that they have some level of privacy, which good for law enforcement. They don't, but
Right.
yeah. Victims
Wow.
were encouraged to engage in increasingly dehumanizing acts, including cutting and eating their own hair, drinking their urine, punching themselves, calling themselves racial slurs, and using razor blades to carve cult members' names into their skin. Cult members' coercion escalated into pressuring victims to unalive themselves on a video live stream. Do you see that, Silky?
Oh, wow. Oh my God. Oh my God.
And you're going to see this is very prevalent. When victims hesitated or resisted or threatened to tell the parents or authorities, cult members would threaten to distribute the already obtained compromising photos and videos of the victims or their to their family and friends. For victims who stopped participating, cult would sometimes carry through on the threats to spread that pornography to their family and friends and also schools and schoolmates.
Wow.
Rain was previously charged with several child exploitation and related offenses in France and has been in French custody since 2022. Merritt is currently in Virginia state custody, serving a 50-year sentence for child sexual abuse crimes committed in 2020 and 2021. If convicted, the defendants would face a minimum penalty of 20 years in prison and a statutory maximum penalty of life in prison. A federal district court judge will determine any sentence after considering U.S. sentencing guidelines and other statutory factors. This case was brought as part of a Project Safe Childhood nationwide initiative to combat the epidemic of child sexual exploitation and abuse, launched in May 2006 by the DOJ, led by U.S. attorneys' offices in the Child Exploitation and Obscenity section. Project Safe Childhood marshals federal, state, and local resources to better locate, apprehend, and prosecute individuals who exploit children via the internet, as well as to identify and rescue victims. Okay, for more information about Project Safe Childhood, please visit justice.gov/PSC. Homeland Security Investigations, the LAPD, San Bernardino County Sheriff's Office, Henry County Sheriff's Office, Iowa State University Police, Police Nationale, the National Crime Agency, New Zealand Department of Internal Affairs, and Europol are investigating the matter. Okay? Now,
I think people have to really be creative to find new levels of low. And obviously, these people are masters at it. I can't. Mm,
yes, indeed. So that's the cult CVLT. Okay, that was from late January. And that's small potatoes, because now we're going to go into this next one, and this is really the focus of the live tonight. This next one,
okay.
you guys are going to absolutely be dumbfounded by this next one. I'm going to try to show this one. This is leaders of 764 arrested and charged for operating global child exploitation enterprise. Now, this is going to be huge. Are you
Go
okay,
ahead.
Silky?
Yeah, I just saw a picture of a tornado not far from me. So let me see where this one is. I think it's still north of me for a while. In a few minutes, somewhere in the next hour, it's gonna be heading my way. I think. Okay, we're good.
Okay. Well, I'm worried about that weather, boy.
Yeah.
So guys, this is again, this is check the date from April 29th. This is just 2 weeks ago. Okay, maybe going on three. This is about 3 weeks ago. I've been trying to cover this for a week and a half, and other more urgent things have come to the forefront. So I've kind of been putting this on the back burner. But I'm so glad that Silky's here with us tonight to deal
Yes,
with it.
I am so glad to be here.
Leaders of 764 arrested, charged with operating a global child exploitation enterprise. Arrest marks significant takedown within violent online network known as 764. And those of you who've been watching me for a while, you'll notice that last year I posted several previous informational articles and also notices of arrest of other 764 members. So this is sort of a continuation, and this is heading towards the top of the pyramid, so to speak. So this has been a significant development. And again, this is only 3 weeks ago. So this is really good news. And so we'll get into this here. And boy, if you thought it was difficult before, this one's difficult here. Okay. Leonidas Varaginius, also known as War 21, a citizen of the United States residing in Thessaloniki, Greece, and Prasan, Nepal, also known as Trippy 20 of High Point, North Carolina. So notice again, we're dealing with international uh, arrest here. Are charged for crimes operating an international child exploitation enterprise. Again, in connection with a nihilistic, again, violent extremist network, again, but this time known as 764. Nepal was arrested on April 22nd in North Carolina, and Varaginius was arrested yesterday in Greece. Okay? According to the affidavit unsealed today in the D.C. District of Columbia, 764 is a violent online network that seeks to destroy civilized society through the corruption and exploitation of vulnerable populations. See again, vulnerable,
Mhm.
which often include minors.
Wow.
The 764 network's accelerationist goals include social unrest and the downfall of the current world order, including the U.S. government. All right. These defendants are accused of orchestrating one of the most heinous online child exploitation enterprises ever encountered. Again, one of the most heinous child exploitation enterprises ever encountered. A network built on terror, abuse, and the deliberate targeting of children, said Attorney General Pam Bondi. We will find those who exploit and abuse children, prosecute them, and dismantle every part of their operation. These defendants allegedly recruited others to exploit children and created a guide for the disgusting online content they wanted, said FBI Director Kash Patel. Let me be very clear about our efforts. efforts. The FBI and our partners are determined to protect juveniles from predators, and we will track down and hold accountable those who engage in these criminal activities. We will work or continue to work closely with our partners at the DOJ to bring justice to the victims of such cruel abuse. The allegations in this case are not only disturbing, they are also every parent's nightmare, said U.S. Attorney Ed Martin Jr. of the District of Columbia. The number of victims allegedly exploited by these defendants and the depths of depravity are staggering. Let's read that again. The
Yeah.
number of victims allegedly exploited by these defendants and the depths of the depravity are staggering. Justice demands that our response be swift in order to ensure public safety, hold the wrongdoers accountable, and bring the victims some sense of closure so they can heal. As alleged, the defendants engaged in a coordinated criminal enterprise and led a core subgroup within 764, known as 764 Inferno, operated through encrypted messaging applications. As alleged, they directed, participated in, and otherwise caused the production and distribution of child sexual abuse material. And the defendants facilitated the grooming, manipulation, and extortion of minors. And there are those terms again. Okay. Virginius and Nepal allegedly ordered their victims to commit acts of self harm and engaged in psychological torment and extreme violence against minors. The affidavit alleges that the group targeted vulnerable children online, coercing them into producing degrading and explicit content under threat and manipulation. This content includes cut signs and blood signs through which young minors would cut symbols into their bodies.
Mm. Wow. I was 764, and I was sitting here trying to remember. I wonder, I've seen that number, and I'm trying to remember where, but I know it like kind of stood out to me because I'm like, what is that? What, I mean, never heard of that before. I'm trying to place it where I came across that. I mean, so it's not enough for these chomos to just see Sam, just involve, like they have to, like they're really trying to manipulate their minds into self-deprecation and cutting and all this kind, like it's, yeah, I can see where the psychological torment, because if you are psychologically controlled by somebody, it is less likely that you are going to actually reach out for help. It's such a which is so strange because I just was listening, and I know I keep bringing it up, but I was just listening to Usher today in the P. Diddy trial, and that's exactly what he was saying. Every time, he tried, he was manipulated. There's a psychological, not just the NDAs that they signed, but such a psychological manipulation that it's not. Of course, he was a teenager when it started, but like, look, when you get somebody under your control, you control them for you can their whole adult life,
Mm-hmm.
having them do whatever you want them to do. God.
Yep. This says the defendants and their co-conspirators around the world used the CSAM and other gore and violent material to create digital lore books, which NVEs used as digital currency within the 764 network. They traded, archived in encrypted vaults, and used this as a mean to recruit new members or maintain status within the network. So, in other words, how depraved can you be, And the affidavit
Right.
also details how the defendants instructed other members in grooming tactics and set content production expectations for new recruits or new members. In multiple instances, the defendants threatened and caused their victims to engage in self mutilation, online and in person sexual acts, harm to animals, sexual exploitation of siblings and others, acts of violence, threats of violence, unaliving, and murder. Like, do we need to read that again?
Yeah, please do.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, the whole gamut.
In multiple instances, the defendants, that means these people charged here, instructed other members of the group in grooming tactics and set content production expectation. Okay, they threatened and caused their victims to engage in self mutilation, both online and in person sexual acts, harm to animals, the sexual exploitation of their siblings and others, acts of violence, threats of violence, self deletion, and murder.
Wow.
According to the complaint affidavit, the defendants exploited at least 8 minor victims across multiple jurisdictions. Some, now remember, like you mentioned earlier, Silky, these are only the ones who were identified,
Right.
uh, confirmed as juveniles, and also as a result of the search warrants, they were able to gain information detailing these particular 8. But there are more.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah, this is just a tiny when they catch somebody, it is you know, just think about it in simple terms like a cop. You pass the cop and he's, sitting there behind the bushes or whatever, and there's a ton of traffic going down the street, but if you get caught, you are just a small fraction of the traffic that passed there probably speeding, right? So
Great
when there
point.
any
Yeah,
whenever you find somebody, and I don't care what it is, involved in something like this, you better know that that is just the tip of the iceberg. That is what is seen. What is unseen is way, way bigger.
exactly.
Wow.
Hey,
Mm.
Silky, my mouse is frozen up again for some reason, so I'll just have to read without showing the rest, but I'll read the rest. It says the network's activities span from late 2020 through early 2025, with core leadership roles attributed to both defendants throughout the period. If convicted, the defendants face a maximum penalty of life in prison. The FBI Washington field office and the FBI New York field office are investigating the case. Also, according to the complaint affidavit, the defendants exploited at least 8 minor victims. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Uh, the FBI Washington field office and FBI New York field office are investigating, with assistance from the FBI Charlotte field office, the FBI Child Exploitation Operational Unit, and the FBI Athens Legal Attaché Office. The Justice Department's Office of International Affairs has provided crucial assistance. Um, Assistant U.S. Attorneys Alexandra Hughes, Karen Shinsky, and Jack Corba for the District of Columbia, and trial attorneys Justin Scher and James Donnelly of the National Security Division's Counterterrorism Section are prosecuting the case, with assistance from U.S. Attorney Eric Iverson for the Middle District of North Carolina, and paralegal specialists Marissa Mondelli, Christina Hamill, and George Casillas. The case was brought as part of Project Safe Childhood Again, a nationwide initiative to combat the epidemic of child sexual exploitation and abuse, launched in May 2006 by the DOJ, and led by U.S. attorneys' offices and CEOs. Project Safe Childhood marshals federal, state, and local resources to better locate, apprehend, and prosecute individuals who exploit children via the internet, as well as to identify and rescue victims. Okay. Now, Silky, could you pull this down until I get my mouse together? I don't know if you hear me, Silky. Yeah. I am seriously
Sorry, I
having.
was muted.
Okay, my mouse is frozen, so I'm going to try to deal with this problem.
No, I was muted because the cat keeps crying and I'll mute and then I'm talking and I don't realize that you can't hear me. Let me say real hello to, I saw her up here somewhere, Pam Frenchman. Hey, I hope you are doing good, Pam. I just saw that you're in here. I hope that you're feeling well. Everything's good. Just want to send some love out to her. Okay, go ahead. Do you want to try have me put it back on there now?
Uh, could you remove me and talk for a second, and I'll be right back. I have to go try to find a. I have to try to find the solution to this mouse.
Okay. Let me go back to yeah. Sorry, I am distracted in just a few minutes. Like maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes. The storm's going to hit, but I think it's oh no. Yeah, okay, I think it's just a storm and not a tornado. Sorry, I'm a little distracted. I don't feel like visiting Oz today. Prof, just tell me when you want me to bring you back up. Um, but yeah, this is going right along with how many of y'all are watching the Diddy trial or at least keeping up with it? And I see in the comments a lot of y'all are talking about Justin Bieber and yeah, I it's heartbreaking. It is heartbreaking to watch him. And I remember my daughter was very much now, I'm not gonna say I don't like Bieber myself. I do. There are some songs I really, really like of his. And but my daughter was, really, really big into Justin Bieber. And I remember a few years ago, if you have never seen his video called Yummy, I'm telling you, go when you have a chance. Don't go right now, y'all. Stay here, but go watch his music video called Yummy because, she showed it to me, and now she's pretty sharp and she really understood most of what he was saying, but it hit me so hard when that came out. The first time I watched it, I was like, "Oh my god, he is like spilling out to everybody what has happened in his life and why, and it's disgusting, but it's not offensive. It's offensive if you know what he's talking about. And it's very obvious, but not if you're a kid. Okay. If you're a kid looking at it, it may seem like I don't really understand, but it's like a party and there's cakes and all this kind of stuff. There's nothing dark about the set, but the message is horrific. And I saw that and I was like, oh my God, that poor guy, that poor guy. So, do y'all know what I'm talking about? Hey, Ninja Warrior Assassin. Good to see you. Um, but if you've seen it, you'll know. And so, again, this is like, I'm glad. I am so glad this trial is going on, and I hope all the details come out. But again, behind the scenes, here we are. Prof, are you ready? Oh, okay. I didn't want to just like leave you back there. I can see him, but y'all can't see him. Oh, if you're ready, yeah, I'm just yapping. Hold on, let me pull you up. Okay, that's okay. But yeah, yeah, this is such good news. Hold on, I got the alert. I'm sorry, y'all. I got to make sure because I got to call everybody from the other parts of the house and tell them we got to run under the stairs. Okay, I think. All right, here we go. Oh wait, let me.
I'm big.
You're big. Yeah. Let's see. I tried to get us the same size and maybe over here. Okie doke. All right,
Thank you.
it's
I
all
was
yours,
able to
Prof.
get my I was able to get my next document up for whenever you're ready.
Okay, yeah, and I might have you start reading that because we just got a new warning and I got to figure out where it's at. This is always fun, isn't it? Right? Isn't it fun to have a tornadoes and you're trying to do a live stream? All right, let me get it fixed. Okay, there you go.
All right, here we go. So guys, now like I said, this is where it gets a little heavy because this is the particular indictment here. And let me see if I can manage to get my pointy out. Okay.
You crack me
I
up
don't
with
know,
that
Silky.
pointy
Should we
pointy.
make this a little bigger so that the people can read it? Let's see. Is
Yeah,
that
I
any
can make
better?
it bigger on this side. Hold on. Yeah, you just tell me. You just go as big as you want, and then I'll fix the rest. There you go.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to make it bigger for the people's eyes. Let's see. Okay.
Me, I'm the people he's talking about. I can't say
All right. So here
squat
we go.
without
So
my glasses.
this is your document here. It says it's quite a document here. So we'll be getting through it. But seriously, guys, this was so horrible that I literally had to go in and redact it for you. And it can be found over there on the DOJ website. So in case you want to go read it yourself, I'm sure some of you will. Uh, but it's the U.S. v. Nepal and Variginius. Um, and again, this is April 15th, okay? April 15th.
Wow.
And it says affidavit in support of criminal complaint and arrest warrant. I, Andrew Russ, being duly sworn, hereby depose and state as follows. I'm a special agent with the FBI and have been employed since December 2022. Currently assigned to the Washington Field Office, investigating matters involving counterterrorism and nihilistic violent extremism. Again, there's that term that I'm wanting you all to begin to pay attention to. This is a future wave of what we're dealing here with the terrorism or the online uh, predators. Okay, it's this
Mhm.
wave of nihilistic violent extremism, and just as you recall, you may recall what we just covered with the cult takedown. Same thing, right? So he says, as a special agent with the FBI, I am authorized to investigate violations of laws of the U.S. and execute warrants issued under the authority of the U.S. I've gained experience through training with the FBI and in everyday work related to conducting these type of investigations. During my career as a special agent, I have conducted physical and wire surveillance, participated in the execution of search warrants and arrest warrants for various crimes, reviewed and analyzed numerous recorded conversations and other documentation of criminal activity, interviewed confidential human sources, subjects, and victims, monitored and wiretapped conversations of individuals engaged in various crimes. I've participated in investigations involving computer related offenses and have executed numerous search warrants, including those involving searches and seizures of computers, digital media software, and electronically stored information. As part of my duties as a special agent, I investigate federal criminal offenses, including sexual exploitation of children and the distribution of child pornography in violation of 18 U.S. Code 2251, 2252, and 2252A. I respectfully submit that there is probable cause to believe that the defendants have committed violations of Title 18 U.S. Code, specifically 18 U.S. Code 2252AG, child exploitation enterprise. There's a word again, right? Remember, I'm
Mhm.
telling you today that we have to be particularly cognizant of specific terminology, okay? None of this is by accident. Okay. I have been personally involved in the investigation of this matter, and I am familiar with the information contained in this affidavit based on my participation in the investigation, my review of documents and other evidence, my conversations with other LE officers, and my training and experience. Because this affidavit is being submitted for limited purpose of establishing probable cause to arrest the defendants, I have not included every detail of every aspect of the investigation. Where actions, conversations, and statements of others are related herein, they are related in substance and part, except where otherwise indicated. Okay, here we go. Um, like I said, this should be a trigger warning as well, Silky. Honestly, for any of you viewers who have weak stomachs, you're particularly sensitive to this type of information, it would probably be a good time to peace out. And maybe you come back in an hour because literally this document right here, even with the redactions, it's pretty stomach turning. Um, so we'll go into it. Probable cause, the child exploitation enterprise. Defendants Nepal, aka Trippy, and Virginius, aka War, the defendants herein did knowingly engage in a child exploitation enterprise. That is, Nepal and Virginius were among the leaders of the NVE Group 764. 764 is a network of nihilistic violent extremists who engage in criminal conduct within the U.S. and abroad. The 764 network's accelerationist goals include social unrest and the downfall of the current world order, including the U.S. government. Members of 764 work in concert with one another towards a common purpose of destroying civilized society through corruption and exploitation of vulnerable populations, including minors. The purpose of which was, among other things, to exploit vulnerable children online, including by facilitating and directing the production, distribution, and receipt of child pornography, as defined in Title 18 U.S. Code Section 22568. In doing so, the defendants violated Chapter 110 of Title 18 of U.S. Code as part of a series of felony violations constituting three or more separate incidents and involving more than one minor victim, which offenses are described below, and committed those offenses in concert with three or more other persons. 764 operated throughout the world, including in the District of Columbia. Certain 764 members, including the defendants and several co conspirators, coordinated their conduct through various internet based groups and channels. And there, Silky, is why I chose this for us to discuss today. Is this
Okay.
crime that is being committed through the internet based platforms and groups and channels, including a private group on an encrypted messaging platform, Platform A, known as 764 Inferno. Okay. Um, References throughout this affidavit to 764 refer to the larger 764 group, which includes leaders and members associated with various internet based groups and channels. References throughout this affidavit to 764 Inferno refer only to the 764 Inferno channel hosted on an encrypted messaging application.
Hmm.
Access to 764 Inferno was reserved for the inner core of 764 members who had been invited by leaders of 764, including defendants Nepal and Varigenius and co-conspirator one, a 764 member who was known by the moniker Fail.
Really kind of did, right? They got caught.
Well, they thought they were on this encrypted messaging application, like I
Yeah.
said, but they don't realize the feds can do a lot of things, right? Okay, so
Yeah.
means and methods of the child exploitation enterprise. Among the means and methods by which defendants Nepal and Varigenius and other 764 co-conspirators conducted affairs of the 764 child exploitation enterprise were the following. Members of 764, both individually and as a group, methodically targeted vulnerable populations, including minor girls with mental health challenges. You see?
Yeah.
Yeah. And attempted, and look at this verbiage here, attempted to socially engineer them,
Mm-hmm.
gain their trust, and then groom them to share private information and intimate visual depictions of themselves engaged in sexually explicit conduct. Then, armed with this private information and intimate images of their victims, 764 members would then use this material to coerce victims into providing more extreme and degrading content, such as images of the victims cutting the names of 764 members into their bodies, setting themselves on fire, abusing their pets or siblings, and even self unaliving. Okay.
Hey, Prof, I am gonna be off for. I mean, just carry on. I will be back. I've got to go get
Okay. Take
in
care of
my safe
yourself. Take care of
spot.
yourself. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Y'all give me just a minute here. Okay. So Silky's got to run. Like there's tornadoes in her area. So let's let Silky go take care of herself and we'll keep trucking. Uh, but she's also going to text me if there's any emergency. I asked her to text me. So hopefully she will keep us up to date. Um, so everybody say a quick little prayer for Silky there. And I'll continue here. This, guys, you all need to be extremely aware of this. This is why we're going through this, even though no one wants to hear this. We need to be very aware of some of the things that happen so we can be prepared for we're going to see more of in the future. Okay. The 764 members would then compile the material they obtained from their victims, edited them into lore books that they would then share within 764 channels. In their leadership roles, defendants Nepal and Veriginius recruited prospective 764 members based on the quality and notoriety of the content they produced and posted online. Content, including lore books containing child pornography, served as valuable currency within the 764, and here's the word again, criminal enterprise. Okay? That's not by mistake. It's not by accident that this verbiage is here. The content generated and shared by members of 764 through the extortion and sexual exploitation of vulnerable minor victims not only resulted in the individual 764 members earning invitations to join the upper tier 764 Inferno and 764's inner core and maintaining and increasing their positions in the group, but the content also served the ends of the 764 enterprise itself by gaining more attention and notoriety for the group and attracting more prospective recruits to join, thereby furthering the goals of 764 by spreading the group's nihilistic violent extremist ideology. After 764 members created and shared their content, the material was often stored in online vaults managed by designated 764 members who agreed to preserve the material for other members if they were feted, i.e., arrested or otherwise disrupted by law enforcement. So you see what's being said here? That not only were individuals producing this material and holding them into what they termed as lore books, but they were also archiving these lore books into online vaults that were spread throughout the group in case any particular member was taken down or feted, arrested, or otherwise disrupted by the law enforcement. Members of 764 also engaged in acts of real world violence, such as destroying property, spray painting 764 monikers and iconography on public buildings, physical abuse of animals, and physical assaults on people. Does it sound like Son of Sam? Including stabbings and attempted murder. Okay? So you can't say this is just a victimless crime online. Okay, this is real world. This is going real world. All right? The group has shifted names over time and spawned known offshoot groups. Although the group moves between social media channels and changes its name, the core members, and pay attention to this, core members, methods, and goals remain consistent. Okay? And this is the overarching threat of 764. Now, defendants' backgrounds. Defendant Nepal has been involved with 764 since the group's inception in or around late 2020, early 21, and was present in the group with its founder, Individual One. Artifacts found in Individual One's phone after his arrest include iMessages from July 1st, 2021, between himself and Nepal, in which the two discussed founding 764 together. Individual One is currently serving an 80-year sentence for possession with intent to promote child pornography in violation of Texas Penal Code Section 4326. He's serving 80 years. Now, Nepal emerged as the leader of 764 and has remained in this position to this day. In his capacity as a member and leader of 764, Nepal has used many online monikers, including Leather Jacket, Rebirth, and King Krampus. But he was most widely known in 764 Inferno as Trippy. Now on to Variginius. Defendant Variginius joined 764 in and around December 2023 and used the monikers including Mercy is Weak, Mercy is Weak 2, and Sinister Fuck, but was commonly known within 764 Inferno as War. So I want you to think about these monikers. And when you are on the internet interacting with these trolls and with these bad actors, pay attention to the names that they choose. Names or monikers are not by accident. Okay? They're your primary first red flag in dealing with anonymous online personalities, and that's the monikers and the avatars. Again, Mercy is Weak, Mercy is Weak, Sinister Fuck, and War. Variginius is a United States citizen. Throughout his participation in the 764 child exploitation enterprise, again, not a mistake that these terms are chosen, Variginius resided in Greece. Defendants Nepal and Variginius were leaders of 764 and specifically were leaders of 764 Inferno. 764 Inferno leadership, including the defendants, conspired with group members to create and distribute images of the exploitation of minors. You see that? Now, this is important here. These images depicted both the sexual exploitation of minors as well as images depicting self mutilation of minors. The defendants controlled membership in and access to the group. The defendants posted instructions to group members regarding methods they should employ to exploit vulnerable minor children. The defendants also interacted with group members by commenting on the exploitation material they posted. 764 relied on members recruiting other members into the group in order to generate additional content, including child exploitation content, that could be distributed within the group. From its inception, 764's tactics have included the production, distribution, and receipt of child pornography. As described above, child sexual abuse material was often included in lore books, which were widely shared in the 764 channels and used to recruit and promote members and to gain attention for the group. These tactics were utilized within 764 as recently as 2024. While defendants Nepal and Varigenius were leaders of 764 and administrators of Inferno as described herein. Defendant Nepal himself directly engaged in the receipt and distribution of CSAM. For example, on July 10th, 2019, Nepal stated in a conversation on Snapchat, "I got child porn. If you want to see it, child P. I'll send it." On or about July 21st, 2019, Nepal stated further, "N-word, I got child porn. I got child P. If you want to see it, I got child P." See? After early 764 leaders were arrested and convicted of criminal offenses, including the production and distribution of child pornography, defendant Nepal began to make statements within 764 channels, according to discourage tactics involving the production and distribution of CSAM in order to avoid the attention of law enforcement. On May 27th, 2024, a member of Inferno posted an image of a fully naked girl who appeared to be a teenager with the words "School is evil" written on her, naked. Nepal responded, "Yes, but I have to blur my vision because that's a little girl." The same day, May 27th, 2024, Nepal posted a step-by-step instructions on how to groom and extort a potential victim. Okay? And here he goes. Go to Reddit or Twitter, self-harm community, and speak with a girl like it's a normal friend. Then seduce her with how much you love how she cuts. On August 28th, 2024, defendant Varigenius posted a list of purported rules for 764 Inferno, which included the admonition, "No pedophilia." Despite this statement, defendants Nepal and Varigenius never removed links to lore books containing CSAM and did not remove any 764 Inferno members who posted this material. Nepal explained on or about September 30th, 2024, "We're not anti-extortion. I'd rather have extortions continue than stop, generally, because it does in a way promote harm and teaches cringy e-girls lessons." See? Again, let's say it again. "We're not anti-extortion," he says in September of 2024. "I'd rather have extortions continue than stop generally because it does in a way promote harm and teaches cringy e-girls lessons. Beginning in or around at least January 2024 and continuing through in and around March 2025 in the District of Columbia and elsewhere, defendants Nepal and Virginius, in concert with co-conspirators 1 through 6, knowingly and willfully engaged in a child exploitation enterprise. That is, the commission of a series of felony violations enumerated in Title 18 U.S. Code Section 2252 AG, constituting at least 3 separate incidents involving more than one victim. So you see what is being said here? Okay. These two, so let's back it up here. Let's start here. As of March 2025, see? March 2025, defendants Nepal and Virginius, in concert with co-conspirators 1 through 6, so that means 8 altogether, knowingly and willingly engaged in a child exploitation enterprise, okay, constituting at least 3 separate incidents involving more than one victim in furtherance of the defendant's child exploitation enterprise. There's the word again. The defendants and their co-conspirators, that means all 8 of them, engaged in a series of child exploitation offenses, including attempted sexual exploitation of a child, coercion and enticement of a minor, and conspiracy to commit coercion and enticement of a minor, and conspiracy to distribute or receive child pornography. All Chapter 110 offenses. The felony violations committed by the defendants in concert with one another and with co-conspirators 1 through 6 are enumerated below. Defendants, co-conspirators. While defendants Nepal and Virginius were leading 764 Inferno, they conspired with and directed others within 764 Inferno to commit crimes in further of the 764 criminal enterprise. These co-conspirators included, but were not limited to, co-conspirator 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, pay attention to these words. AKA fail, AKA slain, AKA acts, AKA praise, and AKA kills. Again, fail, slain, acts, praise, kills. In addition to co-conspirators 1 through 5 listed above, who were members of 764 Inferno during the time that defendants Nepal and Virginius led and managed the 764 criminal enterprise, prospective 764 member Zalak's co-conspirator 6, again, notice the word here, and I'm going to do you guys a favor. And I want you to pay attention to something that you may otherwise miss. And this is going to be something that's forthcoming, okay? Forthcoming, we're going to be discussing something very important, which is the inclusion of the letter X. But pay attention to this, how the letter X is prevalent, okay? We will be covering this in a future point, but the letter X as a somewhat of a bat signal, right? The letter X, okay? Co-conspirator 6 performed an overt act of the conspiracy by storing 764 related content belonging to co-conspirator 5 on his digital devices in the District of Columbia. This stored content, which was located on digital devices seized from co-conspirator 6 during the execution of a search warrant on March 19th, 2025, included images of what appeared to be 764 kills written in red on a wall. In addition, there was another video found on co-conspirator 6 phone that depicted a minor teenage girl standing topless with her redacted exposed. And talking to someone in a live chat while she poured bleach on her arm and set her arm on fire. Again, there was a video found on this co-conspirator's phone, 764 kills, or Xylux, in which a minor teenage girl standing topless with her redacted exposed, talking to someone on a live chat while she poured bleach on her arm and set her arm on fire. The minor depicted in the video has been identified by the FBI as minor victim 1. Defendants' control and leadership of 764. Defendants Nepal and Varigenius have acted as leaders of 764, included by directing and controlling the recruitment of 764 members, and by performing the roles of owner and or administrator of 764 Inferno. Defendants Nepal and Varigenius, along with co-conspirator 1, controlled recruitment by exercising power to include or exclude prospective 764 members who sought entry into the group. To be recruited to 764 or invited to 764 Inferno, defendants Nepal and Varigenius required prospective members to produce and share content which often included visual depictions of minors engaged in sexually explicit conduct or self-harm. Okay, just give me a minute. I need to check something here. All right. Thank you for the patience. And everybody still, please pray for Silky. We're still waiting for her to return because we so miss Silky. Come back, Silky. All right. Let's continue. Apologize. This is not going to be, like I said, for those of you who are weak in the stomach, it's probably not a show to watch. On or about June 5th, 2024, while defendants Nepal and Varigenius were leading and managing 764, co-conspirator 5 expressed his desire to be recruited into 764. He contacted co-conspirator 2, writing, "Yo, let me get recruited back to 764." Co-conspirator 5 offered to produce blood content and claimed that he had, quote, sluts lined up that'll do anything for me, close quotation. Defendants Varigenius and co-conspirators 2, 3, and 4 discussed whether co-conspirators 5 content was good enough to allow him to join 764. Defendant Varigenius complimented co-conspirators 5 content, noting that he already got a bitch to suicide for 764. Let's read it again. Defendant Varigenius complimented co-conspirators 5 content, noting that he, quote, already got a bitch to unalive for 764. Referring to the video of the purported suicide produced and shared by co-conspirator 5. Again, referring to the video of the purported unaliving produced and shared by co-conspirator 5. Defendant Varigenius added, the ending was funny when she fell over. Again, this is a federal indictment. This is not made up make-believe. On or about June 25th, 2024, defendant Nepal asked co-conspirator 3, who do you want me to recruit? Co-conspirator 3 responded, Browser, Aurora, and Kills. Browser, Aurora, and Kills. Referring to co-conspirator 5. Defendant Nepal replied, we won't recruit them unless they do some crazy shit. In further communications about co-conspirator 5 joining 764, another 764 member posted, is Kills good? And he wants to join. In response, co-conspirator 1 instructed the other member to ask co-conspirator 5 to, quote, make 764 content. But later responded, oh nah, tell him to speak with War. referring to defendant Varigenius. See figure number 1 below. The other 764 member responded, "Kills is cool in my opinion," and shared a video with 764 Inferno, which shows what appears to be a young girl with blood on her abdomen. The video moved up her body and shows what appears to be the word "kills" in a red substance consistent with blood. On or about July 4th, 2024, co-conspirator 5 joined 764 Inferno. After joining the group, co-conspirator 5 posted several screenshots of his computer screen, which revealed a folder in the computer downloads with the title Nudes, which included images or videos depicting what appeared to be naked teenage girls exposing their bare redacted. Some of the girls have what appears to be the names of 764 members written on their chest. In response to comments about the content that he posted, co-conspirator 5 stated, "You don't have as much child pee as me, though." Defendants Nepal and Varigenius likewise directed others to produce content for the group. For example, on or about August 26, 2024, members of 764 Inferno discussed bringing back extortion and that the group would have extorters editors. When co-conspirator 4 said, "Let me get in on that," defendant Varigenius responded with, "Go for it," and explained that, quote, "Only the best will get into Inferno, so everyone aware." As discussed in greater detail, co-conspirator 4 later shared content in 764 Inferno, which included CSAM depicting minor victim 2. On or about July 22nd, 2024, defendant Nepal removed another 764 Inferno member and stated that he would need to get content, quote unquote, to join back in again. In addition, on the same day, defendant Nepal invited co-conspirator 2 to join 764 Inferno. Defendant Nepal asked, "Are you going to beat some ass?" and then instructed co-conspirator 2 to use a weapon. Again, instructed co-conspirator 2 to use a weapon. Co-conspirator 2 responded, "I'll find some and do it." Then asked, "Do I do a beating tomorrow?" To which co-conspirator 1 responded, "Yes, on camera." Defendants Nepal and Varigenius, along with co-conspirators 1 and 2, created a guide that gave prospective 764 members explicit instruction on how to create content for the group. The guide was shared by defendant Varigenius in a public 764 channel on platform A on or about September 13, 2024. Notice the date. Again, this is your top group, right? Fail, war, slain, trippy, sin. Fail, war, slain, trippy, sin. The faces of pure people haters. Do you guys remember the Frank's memorandum? And one of the patches, "I hate people"? This guide specifically instructed recruits on grooming victims into producing content for 764 and advised members to target particularly vulnerable individuals or victims, such as individuals with depression or mental illness, and referred to these targets as, quote, e-girls. See figure 3 below. And guys, this was so bad that I had to redact it, okay? This figure here was so bad that I had to redact it for you because it was full of blood, okay? It's full of blood. They're images of gore, and I'll read the caption here. In order to manipulate into one producing content in your name, you must make her feel love to the point she does not want to let go or lose you. And that's when you start requesting for work like blood signs. The best woman to target are ones that have depression or mentally ill ones that cut for the joy of it. Remember, these women are pure assets, and once they have done everything you've wanted and they are useless, throw them away as they are now useless. Don't fall in love with e-girls. The defendants also provided instructions in the guide for extortion and advised prospective 764 members to, quote, socially engineer girls and to groom them into trusting 764 members so that they could obtain information about the victim that could then be used to force her to create blood content. Again, I had to redact this one because of the blood. Okay. Another one I redacted. Extortion. Start by social engineering the girl into trusting you, or as the previous page said, groom her into trusting you. And once you've gained that trust and you have some of her info, make sure to put in on the app notes or other just files in order to keep all the information together. Groom her into producing blood content. And if she doesn't want to do it, force her with the information you've gathered on the victims and use it to your advantage. And look at these images, guys. Look at these images. Everyone take in this right here, these images right here. Be very cognizant of these images, okay? There's nothing by mistake here. In other communications, defendant Nepal provided guidance directly to other 764 members how to effectively groom and extort victims. For example, on or around September 30th, 2024, Nepal wrote, extortion is a form of discipline to little girls who might not have a father at home. It's a good thing. Again, extortion is a form of discipline to little girls who might not have a father at home. It's a good thing. On or about October 4th, 2024, LYC, a member of 764, posted a photo of a female with Lycan written across her exposed redacted in what appears to be black Sharpie. Lycan then posted, next time in blood. I have her school now, so I could probably extort her out of that. Defendant Nepal responded, you can. You have this image and you have her school. You can blackmail her and tell her you will show this picture to her family or friends. She can avoid that if she just obeys you. On or about August 31st, 2024, defendant Varigenius, using display name W, commented encouragingly on content posted by co-conspirator 4 in 764 Inferno. Co-conspirator 4 posted a screenshot of a conversation with minor victim 3 in which he discussed soliciting a blood sign from her. Minor victim 3 was subsequently identified as a UK-based minor victim. The screenshot posted by co-conspirator 4 depicts minor victim 3 standing in a bathtub bleeding after stating, I redacted. I don't know what to do. It won't stop bleeding. Again, minor victim 3 standing in a bathtub bleeding, stating, I redacted. I don't know what to do. It won't stop bleeding. There was a redacted type sex toy visible in the image as well. The image appears to be taken by minor victim 3 and is pointing down at her feet, such that her legs and feet are visible, with the substance that appears to be blood running down the inside of her leg. The sex toy is positioned next to her feet. In response, defendant Variginius commented, "I'm weak and I'm literally rolling right now." Sexual exploitation of children and conspiracy to distribute child pornography, minor victim 4. On or about and between March 29th, 2024 and March 30th, 2024, defendant Variginius communicated with minor victim 4, a 13-year-old minor child, on an encrypted messaging application, Platform B. Using account Platform B account 1, in direct messages with minor victim 4 on Platform B, Variginius asked minor victim 4, "What do you want?" Minor victim 4 responded, "An owner, groom me." Defendant Variginius discussed his quote unquote kinks with minor victim 4, including quote knife play, gun play, CNC age play. CNC is an abbreviation that stands for consensual non-consent, which is a form of role playing where participants engage in activities that simulate non-consensual scenarios. Again, CNC, consensual non-consent, in which is a form of role play where participants engage in activities that simulate non-consensual. Knife play, gun play, consensual non-consent, age play. Minor victim 4 stated, "I'm 12," indicating she was a 12-year-old minor child. Minor victim 4 and Variginius made statements during their communications indicating that they were simultaneously communicating over video chat. For example, minor victim 4 asked Variginius, "Can you see me?" And Variginius responded, "Yes." Minor victim 4 subsequently stated she had to leave the chat, and the following exchange occurred. Minor victim 4, "Can we call later?" Variginius, "We'll see." Minor victim 4, "I'll do anything." Variginius, "Redacted for me then." Minor victim 4, "Right now or later?" Variginius, "Right now." The chat communications indicated that minor victim produced a visual depiction of herself redacted for Variginius over a live feed. Variginius, "Good pup." Minor victim 4, "It's so big." Variginius, "Faster." Minor victim 4, "I redacted." Variginius, "Cute." During the same conversation, defendant Variginius asked minor victim 4 if she was busy and stated he was thinking about something. Variginius and minor victim 4 had the following exchange. Variginius, "Something to do with the marker and server, but it's ALR." ALR is abbreviation for all right. Minor victim 4, "Do I have to write 764 on me?" Variginius, "You aren't dumb." Minor victim 4, "What do you mean?" Variginius, "Actually something else." After a brief exchange about moving to a different server, they had the following exchange. "Could you do something else? Actually, never mind. Tell me." No, I don't want to waste your time. Plus, I know you shy." Minor victim 4, "Baby, tell me." Virginius, "Little strip tease for the server." "How many people?" "Only 3. Who?" "You wouldn't know them." "Are they nice, but I look fat?" "Not really. You look fine." Direct messages between minor victim 4 and defendant Variginius on platform B, which were exchanged simultaneously with the live show that defendant proposed minor victim 4 perform on platform B, revealed that defendant Varigenius instructed minor victim 4 to, quote, remove her clothes and perform a strip show with the sound off that she would not hear the comments of the defendant and his associate as they watched her. After the live stream ended, minor victim 4 stated in direct messages to defendant Varigenius, I want to unalive myself, which is an abbreviation meaning unalive myself. On or about June 14th, 2024, while acting in concert with defendants Nepal and Varigenius, who are administrators of 764 Inferno and leaders of 764, co-conspirator 3 posted a link in 764 Inferno to a channel on Platform A entitled Minor Victim 5. Lore book. The lore book contained images and videos depicting minor victim 5 engaged in sexually explicit conduct and self-harm. Specifically, the material contained visual depictions of minor victim 5, redacted, and cutting the names of 764 members into her body. In addition, the lore book also contained at least one visual depiction of minor victim 5 showing her exposed, redacted, and naked torso with the moniker narrow and a symbol that was either cut into her body or written in blood. The material was produced between, on, or about October 1st, 2022 and June 13th, 2023, when minor victim 5 was 13 and 14 years old. Co-conspirator 3 posted minor victim 5's lore book in the 764 Inferno channel twice on or about June 14th, 2024. He initially posted the link at 8:25 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and then again at 8:46 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Co-conspirator 3 and other members of 764 Inferno commented about lore book. Another 764 member asked, what did you say at the end of the vid? Co-conspirator 3 responded, she was like, please stop. And I said, shut the F up, whore, and I kicked her again. Defendant Nepal was active in 764 Inferno while co-conspirator 3 was posting this material. Posting under the moniker Leather, defendant Nepal posted an Inferno 5 minutes before co-conspirator 3 posted the first link to the minor victim 5 lore book. Nepal posted again 17 minutes after co-conspirator 3 posted the second link. Varigenius was likewise active in 764 Inferno and posted comments in the channel the same day, June 14th, 2024, between 7:41 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and 7:56 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Minor victim 6. On or about June 18th, 2024, while acting in concert with defendants Nepal and Varigenius, who are administrators of 764 Inferno and leaders of 764, co-conspirator 2 posted a video or a compilation video to 764 Inferno, which included a clip from a known child pornography video called Daisy's Destruction. The video depicts a toddler, minor victim 6, hung upside down from her feet while she is sexually assaulted and tortured by an adult. According to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, the video is part of a known child pornography series named Redacted. Defendant Nepal was active in 764 Inferno when co-conspirator 2 posted the Daisy's Destruction video. Co-conspirator 2 posted at 3:51 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. The last post in 764 Inferno before co-conspirators 2 posts was by a post by defendant Nepal stating, I got some cool shit coming in too. I ain't doing it though. I don't do shit. Sounds familiar? Later the same day, defendant Nepal was active in 764 Inferno, communicating with co-conspirator 1 and discussing his decision whether to remove others from 764 Inferno for fighting. Posting under the moniker Leather, defendant Nepal posted fail, co-conspirator 1. Let's remove some redacted from here. I've seen some arguments. Defendant Verigenius was likewise active in 764 Inferno or about June 18, 2024, posting material between 2:44 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and 6:52 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Minor Victim 7. On or about August 29th, 2024, while acting in concert with defendants Nepal and Verigenius, who were administrators of 764 Inferno and leaders of 764, co-conspirator 2 posted a link to a channel on Platform A, which contained material entitled Minor Victim 7 Lore Book. The Minor Victim 7 lore book contained images and videos of a 14-year-old minor victim engaged in sexually explicit conduct. The material included fan signs for 764 members that were drawn on Minor Victim 7's body, as well as visual depictions of Minor Victim 7 inserting a hairbrush and other foreign objects redacted. In addition, degrading comments from 764 members made to and about Minor Victim 7 were also contained in the lore book. The videos or video files. Hey, Silky.
Hey, I think I'm good for a few minutes. It was uh it was interesting around here.
Well, we're
I've been
glad you're
trying
back.
to listen. This is horrific.
It's horrific. Like I said, I had to
Yeah.
redact. Look at it.
Yeah, it's horrific.
But we
Like,
need to know.
when I look at stuff like this, I understand why there is a hell. And it's not too hot.
It's not hot enough. No.
No, it's not hot enough for these people.
Well, I'm glad you're back, and you think you're okay for a while?
Yeah, there's a second round coming in, but it doesn't look as strong, I hope. So we were all piled under the staircase there
We were
for
so worried about you. I know. I was worried. I was getting nervous. Like I need to text her. Okay. Whew. Well, I'll continue then. We're almost done with this. We're getting through. Hey, Heather Brown says, "Hey, Silky."
Hey
Yeah,
there.
we needed an intermission. This was getting too bad, man.
Yeah.
When I read this, I almost vomited several times. I'm serious. I got like the nauseous feeling reading this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've read through things like this before. It's rough though. I mean, I get so angry, Prof. I really, you understand. I'm just thinking if that was my kid, that was my kid.
Unalive.
That's all I'm gonna
I
say.
know. Unalive somebody. And I hate honestly, Silky, I hate reading it. I don't like promoting this, but this is like we need to know. Parents need to know. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It says the video files in this minor victims lore book included the following: one 5-second video of minor victim 7 who appeared naked in the video, repeatedly inserting a purple hairbrush, redacted. One 9-second video of minor victim 7 repeatedly inserting a foreign object into her, redacted. One 18-second video captioned, I just redacted myself to you, depicting minor victim 7 repeatedly inserting a foreign object, which appears to be a pen, redacted. One 10-second video of minor victim 7 repeatedly inserting her fingers, redacted. Minor victim 2, on or about August 29th, 2024, while acting in concert with defendants Nepal and Verigenius, who were administrators of 764 Inferno and leaders of 764, co-conspirator 4 posted a link in 764 Inferno to the Minor Victim 2 lore book, which contained a visual depiction of minor victim 2. The link contained a 36-second video showing minor victim 2 inserting her fingers into redacted and doing cut signs on a live chat on platform A. Minor victim 2 stated during a December 2024 interview with the FBI that she was aware of her lore book and that she had sent nude images of herself online as recently as November 2024 when she was 15 years old. She acknowledged that she participated in a cut show on at least one occasion after someone had threatened to release her private messages and images if she did not comply. Defendant Nepal, using moniker Trip EE, was active in 764 Inferno on or about August 29, 2024, when co-conspirator 2 posted the CSAM depicting minor victim 7, and when co-conspirator 4 posted the CSAM depicting minor victim 2. Defendant Varigenius was also active in 764 Inferno on or about August 29, 2024, posting both on August 29th and the next day, August 30th, 2024. On or about August 31st, 2024, at 2:12 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, while acting in concert with defendants Nepal and Varigenius, who are administrators of 764 Inferno and leaders of 764, co-conspirator 4 posted a link in 764 Inferno to the Minor Victim 8 lore book. The lore book contained visual depictions of a UK-based minor victim inserted her fingers into a redacted on a Platform B live stream. On or about September 4th, 2024, additional content was posted to the Minor Victim 8 lore book channel, which contained visual depictions of a minor female engaging in redacted with a foreign object. In the video depictions, Minor Victim's 8's naked body is exposed to the camera, revealing that she is small in bone structure with narrow hips and no visible redacted, supporting the inference that she is a minor. The files in the lore book included the following: 3 images of the minor with cuts across both breasts and the word praise. And you may remember praise is one of the usernames. Co-conspirator 4, written across her breast in blood and marker. 144-second video of the minor inserting her fingers repeatedly. On or about August 31st, 2024, defendant Varigenius was listed on a roster of 764 Inferno members. The Minor Victim 8 lore book was posted 3 hours after Varigenius posted a comment to the group. Identification of the defendants. According to a third-party commercial subscription service, on or about May 18th, 2022, a Platform A account with the display name Trippy Inferno. Platform A account 1 instructed other users to add him on another encrypted application, Platform C, through the username FreeKickin7. Platform C account 1. Records provided by Platform C included subscriber information for Platform C account 1, which was created on or about June 6, 2017. The subscriber information was also included multiple display names utilized by Platform C account 1, some of which were Prazan Trip King, and Trippy 764. See that? The subscriber information also included IP addresses by which Platform C account 1 was accessed, one of which was used numerous times in or around and between January 2022 and 2024, IP address 1. Based on open source information, IP address 1 belongs to an internet-connected device in or around High Point, North Carolina. Records provided by Lumos Networks included subscriber information for 2 specific instances in which IP address 1 was used to access Platform C account 1. The subscriber information revealed that the associated internet service provider account was registered to an individual with the last name Nepal and included specific service address in High Point, North Carolina. Based on public information, 4 individuals were associated with residence 1, including Prasan Nepal, with the date of birth February 24th, 2005. You see how young that is, Silky?
Yeah. Yeah.
The other three individuals residing there are Nepal's parents and younger sister. Platform C records include photographs of an individual who is a visual match to Nepal's driver's license photo. Therefore, I believe Nepal to be the user of the accounts. Review of additional Platform A records indicated defendant Nepal also utilized the display name King and the username Krampus E in or around February 2024, an online covert employee. That means it undercover, right? Captured
That's the way I
messages
take
from
it.
764 associated chat room, 764 hell room, where a user with display name Hinder referred to Platform A account 2 as Trippy. Additionally, on or about February 14th, 2024, Platform A account 2 posted in another 764 channel the following. If people know that I am trippy and I don't give a fuck, it means I'm not avoiding anything. In or around February 2024, OCE1, or online covert employee, that means an undercover, captured a group discussion within another 764 related chat that Trippy participated in. The participants discussed moving to the chat to a different communication application, Platform B. So you see, Silky, how they're constantly moving.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
like to they're like gypsies. They go from
Right.
Discord to Telegram to Signal to Discord, and they keep moving, thinking they're not going to be tracked. Okay, on or about February 28, 2024, covert employee one observed an account with the username King Krampus on Platform D, similar to the Platform A account two. Records obtained from Platform D revealed an email address, Google account one, associated with the account. Records provided by Google for Google account one indicated the recovering email address for account one was prasanlegend7 at Gmail. Access from IP address one numerous times. Based on the foregoing information, your Affianus has probable cause to believe that Nepal is the user. Yes, absolutely. Okay, let's continue. And let this be a warning to you, predators and psychopaths.
Mhm.
They will find you. Okay.
Yeah.
Identification of defendant Variginius, according to reports from a sensitive source. Now, this is interesting. Another sensitive source. War was a member of the 764 Inferno channel and used platform AUID X0446. According to a third party commercial subscription service from at least on or about January 30th, 2024 to May 15th, 2024, UID X0446 used username War764. Platform B records revealed that Platform B account was also used the moniker War764. Platform B provided voluntary disclosures that between on or about November 1st, 2023 and March 17th, 2024, three separate accounts with display name War764 attempted to coerce at least three minors to commit acts of self-harm. According to the Platform B disclosures, one of the War 764 accounts was Platform B account one and was associated with email address mercyisweak at skiff.com. As described above, Platform B account one was also the account in communication with minor victim four. The email address associated with the other two accounts were Bandy Papa Duck at Skiff and Les Nude 783 at yfaz.com. Platform B records further revealed that three accounts associated with War 764 were all accessed from IP address resolving to Cosmote Thessaloniki, located in Central Macedonia. Based on my training experience, the Platform B disclosure cited above, and the fact that three accounts were each accessed from the same location, it's likely that the accounts were all used by the same individual. Records obtained from Google reveal that the email address bandypapalion at gmail.com was registered under the name War and was associated with the YouTube channel for Mercy is Weak. Okay. On or about April 5th, 2024, Greek law enforcement seized from defendant Variginius, who resided in Thessaloniki, Greece, multiple electronic devices. that were then shared with the FBI pursuant to a mutual legal assistance treaty. Now, don't you find that interesting, Silky?
Yeah.
That the Greek law enforcement would hand over devices directly to FBI.
Yeah, well, they don't do that in Indiana, do they?
I tell you
Or
what.
maybe they do covertly. Who knows?
But thanks to that, a review of the Android device seized from defendant Virginius Android device was associated with the phone number, which revealed an exchange that included an images of a passport issued under the name Leonidas Varaginius. Records obtained from Google for the account Baby or Bandy Papa Lion revealed the same passport image of Varaginius. Well, he's busted.
Hmm.
Further review revealed three saved images of graffiti on a white SUV, which included the names Trippy War and T3NMM. All three images were observed in the 764 NLM Hell Room on Platform A, accompanied by the message, if interested in joining us, please contact me at Platform E. Mercy is weak. The Android device also contained an image of graffiti on a white box style truck of the words War Failed Darks and 764X Morgue. An additional image depicted what appears to be a white male wearing a dark colored jacket with the hood up and a skull mask covering his nose and mouth. And that's also a common
Hmm.
thing of these violent extremist
Yep.
accelerationists.
Seen many of those pictures.
Yep. These images were posted within 764 Inferno by user War764. Specifically on March 4th, 2024, the following messages were exchanged. War, drop Morg's paint so the gang can see. Okay. He will get more. Think you should be joining us. War764 was denoted as an admin when sending the message above. Records from Platform B associated with Platform B account 1 revealed all 6 images discussed above. That means you're busted. It's common
Hmm.
within the 764 network for the same individual to use, and this is very important, you guys, listen up. Perk your ears up. We're almost done. Last page. It's common to use multiple alternate accounts called alts because accounts are often terminated due to violations of the online platform's community standards, including sharing CSAM, Animal Crush, or other violent content. Individuals often create alt accounts that are variations of the same name. Based on the above, probable cause to believe Varaginius is the user of the accounts, displaying, among others, War 764, War, and W on platform A, B, and account 1. Based on the facts, this affiant respectfully submits that there's probable cause to believe that defendants Nepal and Varaginius committed the offenses of child exploitation enterprise in violation of Title 18 U.S. Code 2252A, and that's it. Okay, so Silky, I can't do any more talking.
I'm sorry. I am so sorry that yeah, I couldn't help it, but this was the only night I had, and unfortunately the tornadoes decided to visit us. I mean, it was coming right up my way and then just skimmed us, so
Yep.
I don't know.
So for anyone interested, look, I'll show you the title page again. This is to be found on Pacer or the DOJ website. Okay. And it's US v. Nepal and Varaginius. Okay. So I'll let Miss Silky take this down and we'll be done with that. And that's what we had for you in terms of, I wanted to go through that jaunt with you so that you would absolutely have uh, confidence and a great understanding of what you're dealing with here with the predators on the internet. And remember, all of these were from last year. This is around
Yeah.
the time of Richard Allen's trial and the pretrial hearings. This is not from 10 or 20 years ago.
You know, when they were talking about the different discords and stuff, it was a little bit of PTSD, not the same subject, but Prof, you and I have been in a bunch of different discords and had our own discords and all that kind of stuff. But
Mhm.
you can see the people that we know, I use that slightly, um, the same patterns of behavior. Now, it wasn't CSAM, but the same kind of bullying, the same kind of talk, and the private groups, and the let's get more private, and moving discussions here and there. That was a lot that same thing I saw in the discords about Delphi with certain creators, or just not everybody was a creator. Some people were just people, with their discords that were in the chat that we all knew. And I would say that part of my life, when I was in all the discords, that was pretty it was pretty stressful. It was pretty traumatic at times. I know you'd say the same. I know what you caught all kind of crap on Discord.
Hmm.
Um,
Well,
but
that's a good point you're making. The MOs are the same. The modus operandi. Like there's only one way
yeah.
this is done on the internet. And it's by hiding behind fake accounts and many alt accounts.
Mhm.
It's by these private groups that are isolated little pockets, and like you say, the various levels of privacy that they believe they have.
Yeah.
And it's easy to terrorize people behind fake accounts when
Right.
you're not showing your identity and your location. And it's part of the reason we need to be showing this and discussing it, because 764 might be one extreme example, but
Mhm.
there's a whole panorama of these types of organizations, and this I call it terrorism. It's cyber terrorism.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And you know, I think what people don't understand is when you are in a Discord and you're very active in that Discord, yes, people use all kind of alt names, and then they would put on here, oh, this is actually so and so, I'm using this name. So you have to, you're trying to remember all these names, but the thing of it is it's very real. The conversation and the people, when you are talking to people, it's like having a text message fight with somebody. You know what I'm saying? So if you've never been in a Discord, then that's the closest thing to equate it to, is all of a sudden being in a group text where everybody is attacking you, because
Hmm.
these are people that you talk to every day. And it's not just, I mean, if you hit the Discord and it was just a big mess, you just nope right out of there. But they draw you in. It's funny memes, how you doing, I'm having my coffee. And so, like, it's like this huge group chat, and that's how you kind of get sucked into it, because you feel like you get to know some of the people in your chat behind the scenes, right? Even though they're using a name, it's like you kind of feel like you get to know them, and it kind of becomes a community until the day that you are attacked relentlessly. Might start with a little bit of discourse about this and that, a little bit of I don't agree, with this, and it's civil, and you can have a discussion, and then all of a sudden you find yourself attacked by all these people. And I can see where, if you're a young person and you get involved in some of this kind of stuff, at first, like, you don't want to leave the community, because you
Hmm.
have friends, right? Friends
Hmm.
who care about you and tell you good morning, how you doing, and you feel like they're your peers. And honestly, it could be anybody behind that keyboard,
Hmm.
but it doesn't feel like it, right? Wouldn't you
Especially
say
though,
that
yeah,
the
the ones you've never FaceTime, you don't know who the hell you're dealing with. Hmm.
exactly. And then all of a sudden, you're being attacked, and at first you're like, you don't want to leave your happy little place, your
Hmm.
happy little Discord, because then all of a sudden it's like you lost all your friend group, even though always had friends on the outside, like in real life. But it does get you, it can mess with your psyche.
Hmm.
And of course, it can be hurtful, and then you want to keep the peace, but then there comes a point where you're just like, you know what, y'all are people behind a screen. I'm walking out my door and you're not going to be there. So
Yeah, I'll reach
get
through
out.
and beat the shit out you, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
No, but and you know what's funny? Like I've realized, like because I noticed a particular tactic is that they love to do it as a group. So they'll come in and
Hmm.
they'll beat you as a group. And I realize now because I had people come to me and to say, Prof, they call that jumping. So these
Yeah.
people who are doing this, they are very well aware that they're coming in 8 or 12 or 15 deep, and they're going to all pile on one person.
Mhm.
And you only got to get jumped once in that way to know that it's not good. And they have seriously attempted to make people unalive themselves. When I say this is not a joke. Even in Delphi, I guarantee fucking to you, there have been several serious attempts to cause people to do self-harm by this sort of behavior in the discords and even in the live chats and whatnot. Um,
Yeah.
because they don't have, us people like us, Silky, we stand on our own. We're
Mhm.
independents. We
Right.
stand on a soapbox boldly and loudly, and we can speak for ourselves. But these people are not like that. They have to
No.
come 15 deep all at
Right.
once because they only roll as a crew because they don't have valid arguments. You know, um,
Yeah, I mean, I remember, sorry, I'm trying to let everybody know that I think it's okay. Um, I remember being in a Discord, and I couldn't even tell you whose it was now. I think I would know, but I'm not gonna say. Um, and everybody was so friendly with you, Prof, when you first started your channel, even before. Everybody was like, "Yeah, remember when everybody was let me try to do this without naming names. I don't play that game. There was a certain creator who was around for a hot minute, and I was in his Discord. I didn't know you, but you were in his Discord. And so, everybody was like hyping you up saying, "Oh yeah, the prof, blah blah blah." And so then you started your channel. And so I jumped in your Discord cuz this first creator said, "Hey, join Prof's Discord." So I did. And so, that's how it kind of grows. And everybody was so very supportive of you right in the beginning. And then all of a sudden, I get on Discord one day and I'm like, what the heck is going on? And so there was wars. And then I remember being in Discord groups that would say, okay, we're going to go into Prof's Live and we're going to change our names to blah, blah, blah. And sometimes it was a theme. I'm sure you remember those days. And I'm like, oh my God, what is wrong with these people? But,
because
I'm
I
just sitting
said
there
the
as the
wrong
observer.
thing. Yeah,
Hmm?
I participated in unapproved speech, and the second you do that, you become a target in this. I know.
Yes.
I think it's true crime in general, but in Delphi for sure, Delphi
Yes.
is plagued with it. We have a plague.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was just, I think that was the most eye opening thing for me. I'm like, these are grown adults, I'm assuming, right? And I'm like, what are they doing? Like, what? Why would you go into somebody's live stream and just troll them? Like, it didn't make any sense to me. And I clearly saw how it was, quickly progressing from, oh, we love Prof, we support Prof, to Prof is the devil, let's troll him. And I sat by on the sidelines because I'm just sitting there with my popcorn observing humans because I knew you already knew because you already had insiders in that group that were telling you what was going on. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to sit here with my popcorn and observe humans going down the toilet, So I
And
did it. I did it for a while.
you would
What?
think that by now it'd be done. It's like, don't you realize I'm not going anywhere?
Yeah.
2 years later, but no,
Yeah.
still going.
Yeah. But it put me in a really bad position because I wanted to know what was going on, what their game plan was, but I didn't want to participate. So, you're balancing that until the day that I absolutely couldn't. And even before I kind of broke off with the troll farm, I was very unhappy with the way things were going in Discord, and I noped out of all the Discords. I was just like, I'm done. I even shut my own down. And I'm like, I'm
Me
done with
too.
this.
Me too.
People
I'm
are
like, I'm out.
insane.
This shit is chaos. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because you really just want to have, it's a nice place. If Discord could be, if you could have a good group of people in there, it's great. It's great to have a community where you do say, "Hey, good morning," "How's your coffee?" Whatever, and it's just like a community of people, and you don't have to agree on everything, but you don't disrespect other people's opinions. I mean, and if Discord were used that way, it would be a great community. But
Hmm.
inevitably, some, goofball comes in there and, causes a ruckus and everything. And then it just goes down the toilet. But I don't think that, people really understand all the means of ways that we can be harassed. So I still have a couple people that message me on Discord, and there's some friends from the very beginning, and we're not in a group. Like they just send me a message on Discord, "Hey, how you doing?" And that's great. Um, but it's not an open Discord, so
It's
uh,
such a shame because it, like you say, it would be valuable. It would be nice, but you just
yeah,
can't have nice things.
we can't. This is why we can't
Apparently,
have nice things.
it's Delphi.
You You trolls. Yeah, I mean, can you imagine, Prof, of it just because it's hard when you have so many people that you want to reach out to. And I think about what my schedule is between my two channels and between my job and everything that's going
Lord,
on.
who has time for
It's like
that? Yeah.
I can't. I can't message you every day and low light and some of these other people and say, "Hey, how you go? How's it going?" But when you're in a Discord, somebody else, like, you can keep up with people
Hmm.
so easily. And it would be nice if, we were closer, we're able to contact, but you're not. And so it's like, but you can't have a Discord. You just can't. Not unless you like drama, and I do not. I have enough drama.
No, I'm done with it. I mean, dude, the last thing I need. But you're right. I mean, you and I. So like, if I text or call you once a week or every 2 weeks, that's a
Hmm.
lot
Yeah, right,
because we're
right,
so busy. But
exactly. Yeah, and
yeah,
it's
I mean, it's something, man.
I mean, I wish I could just like handpick people and say, okay, y'all are allowed in this Discord. And let's just, because you don't have to tell every single person. It's like you're telling all the people, what's going on. You don't have to text five people and say, hey,
Mhm.
it's like it's all there. And I have been in some Discord communities um, that were so nice. Let me just say this: it was not a Delphi uh, Discord. Okay, had nothing to do with Delphi. We didn't talk about Delphi at all. But it was another Discord, and when I left that Discord, it was hard because I missed the people that I talked to every single day.
Mhm.
And they weren't even in my chats. Okay, this didn't even have anything to do with my channel. I mean, they knew my channel, but you know what I'm saying? It was just nice. And but yeah, the so based on, even as an adult, and like you said, we're very independent, strong-minded, strong-willed people who really don't care what other people think. Um, it's like, well, I'm at the age where I can do that. But if I were a teenager, a young teenager or a preteen or whatever, or even an older teenager, I was so naive back in those days. And I I can't imagine like, I can see it happening so easy to these young people. You get sucked into a group like this, and then all of a sudden you're
I can't
terrorized and you
imagine.
don't know how to get out.
I'm glad you brought that point up because we might have almost missed that point. But thinking about these children or these child victims, I mean, I remember being in middle school and high school, and oh, just imagine, like you say, because you're desiring acceptance, you're desiring boyfriends and girlfriends and all of this stuff, and it's all new. So just imagine the next level of complexity. these days. What
Yeah.
children are having to navigate. That's why they're child victims. Like
Yeah.
they guarantee you what we just read through. Not one of those was a child. Okay, these are all adults
Mhm.
perpetrating crimes against the children.
Right.
It's not other children. So
I,
you
I
know.
I am horrified to think what it would have been for me if there had been discords and social media when I was in high school, because it started in middle school, but really in high school I moved from Alabama to Virginia, which is where I graduated. And I like I had lived in Alabama. I was all full of this culture. And even though Virginia is considered a southern state, I assure you it is not a southern state. Not even close. And I didn't look like anybody. I didn't talk like anybody. And I mean, all of a sudden, I was the outsider. And instead of being embraced, I was ostracized. And so, I mean, I went through 4 years of hell in high school. My car was vandalized. I had death threats. All, and I'll tell you why. Because I didn't conform. When I got up there in ninth grade, so how old are you? You're younger, right? And so oh, sorry, my TV is on and they're playing a loud commercial. But anyway, I looked at them and I thought, I don't want to look like you. I don't want to act like you. I don't like y'all. But even at that, I mean, that's where I learned, okay, you're going to have to figure out who you are and stand on it. And I did. So I learned how to, be happy um with myself. And like I really don't care what y'all think. But see, I didn't have social media as
Mhm.
well, cuz can you imagine somebody, I think about it, somebody like me who was already, going against the the what is it? Going against the flow. Um, I would have been just annihilated on social media had it been a thing. And I mean, but that's how I survived Delphi. Didn't know it was setting me up for later in life.
Look, Greenlee says, imagine being poor and someone offering you $500 for whatever, and there's someone you like or know at school. This is how it starts, or it's worse. I've seen siblings sell their younger siblings on these platforms. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. It looks like Silky might have had to dip again, but yeah.
Now I'm here. I was trying to turn my TV off because the weather stations went off. I guess we're safe. So I can hear it. It's distracted me. But yeah, I see. Yeah, somebody offering you $500, especially when the minimum wage is, what is it, 750? I don't even know. I mean, how many hours do you have to work for $500? Can you imagine somebody just coming and, you know, I mean, to me, $500 is not. I mean, it's nice, but it's not going to make or break me. But at that age, it does. You know. Um, I don't know. It's so sad that we have taken something that could be a very beautiful thing as social
Hmm.
media and really just rammed it down the toilet.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Yep. And this is where this, like, these law enforcement got to catch up with this because,
Mhm.
I mean, the fact is that the crime has moved from the street and has embraced these internet pathways because I've said before to people, the internet makes everything easy. Think about it.
Mhm.
I got to pay my rent. Click, 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 paid. You
Yeah.
know, I got to order some Walmart items. Click, 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 and all I got to do is go pick them up, son. So it's like you can do anything on that internet, and it makes everything so much easier. So you have to realize that criminals are going to do the same thing. Like
Right.
internet makes things easier and facilitates things. So this is why we got a problem here.
Yeah. And I think well, they're catching up a little bit, but I think for years law enforcement was woefully behind the times and not looking, strongly. I think about when was it that I first heard about Facebook? It was like in 2003 or something like that, or was it MySpace? Maybe it was MySpace. I had one of those too. But you know, it was such a weird thing. I don't think that people really understood how what was going on, cuz I mean now they're catching up a little bit. Um but yeah, think how many people were bullied and manipulated. Cuz again, this is horrific, and as horrific as it was that Prof was reading out, imagine this is going on, and even worse, okay? I have read worse, believe me. Uh it's going on such a massive scale. We're looking at one case that, and we're horrified. But y'all, this is nothing. This is nothing.
Tip
And
of
the
an
depths that
iceberg.
people go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, I'm glad to see that Pam Bondi and Cash Patel are doing something about this, but I mean, I think we would be appalled and shocked, Prof, if we knew how long social media has actually been, and the internet, even pre what we know as internet. Um, how many things? I mean, and I say that because I read a story about, oh my gosh, this must have been in the early 90s when they were just trying to connect. There wasn't browsers. Did you ever have, what was that one? It had it was called Navigator. What was it? So I don't even know
Mhm.
who made it. I think that was my first browser. And it
Netscape.
had,
Netscape.
yes, the Navigator one.
Oh Lord, we're showing our age.
I know, right? Because I had that browser and I didn't understand that you had to have a browser. Like, I'm like, I don't know how any of this works, right? But I read a story about how on some kind of posting board that was out there before you had browsers, where somebody was testing, if I put this out here, wherever this is in cyberspace, if anybody will read it. So somebody posted they were selling like a kitchen table or something. And they posted it on there. Few days pass and all of a sudden they get an offer from somebody in another country, like way across the world. And that is when they realized, "Oh my god. This is amazing that you can connect like this." And of course, right after that you had, millions of people jumping on this world wide web of like, what is it? I was, one of those first ones, but I bet you that the trafficking started before Navigator. Even in
Mhm.
those weird circles. Like, if I can post my table that I'm trying to sell in the US and somebody over in, I don't know, New Zealand or somewhere answers the ad, I mean, bingo. All of a sudden, you've got a connection. And people who are horrible excuses for humans, they're going to jump on that just like you and I jump on. We're trying to do something good.
Mhm.
And just think how many years and how much trafficking could have been done all those years when we were just learning about what's an IM, what's an instant message, what's that? You know, I remember when Yahoo had chat rooms and I didn't even understand. I'd jump in them and I'm like, I don't even know what these people are talking about. How does this work? Um, but yeah, it's a huge problem, and I hope that this case. I'm so glad that you talked about it, as horrific as it is, because like people, you need to be aware.
Well, like, yeah, that's what gets me is this was last year. This is
And I
not
didn't know.
15 years or 5 years ago. While we were watching trial, this shit was happening.
Yeah, and back when I started this channel, um there is a woman, and I know probably some of y'all listen to her. I have not listened, and I feel really kind of bad because I used to follow her. But it's Justice Served Daily, and she is always talking about missing kids and all the different ways that this happens, but specifically in Indiana. And the things that you learn and I learned just from watching a little bit of her stuff. It's like it's horrible. It's horrible. Um I don't know. Let's see. I was trying to read some of this stuff. Let's see what chat is saying. I hate that I missed it. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch my my own live to see what I missed during that. What was I gone about 45 minutes? It was a while.
And that was a lot to read through, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's.
Yes. Oh, and we hadn't even talked about the dark web, right?
I
Can
think
you
like
imagine?
focusing on how they target the vulnerable. I
Mhm.
think that's a very big point. Is that they're constantly shifting identities and locales, and they love targeting the vulnerable. So there's
Mhm.
targeting layer one. There is targeting. It's
Yeah.
never random. There's targeting. There's baiting, and then they look for the vulnerable. They look for the easy to get to.
Right. I mean, can you imagine being a teenager that you really don't know, your body's going crazy and you're changing so much and now you're depressed or whatever. And can you imagine being a teenager in that situation and then all of a sudden you get a message from somebody on whatever media platform you're on and they're like, "Hey, you sounded sad today. Do you need to talk?" All of a sudden you've got a friendly ear. And I mean, when you groom somebody, it's it can take it's not just days. I mean, I guess for some people it is. Um but they'll put in weeks, months, whatever to groom you. And so you think these kids think they have a friend. And I think also about I know maybe some of y'all have watched these shows that have these women, older women who should have sense, giving all their money to these online romance people, right? Um, it's like, and I tell you what, it's interesting because if you are on Facebook and you have a relationship status change, y'all in the comments in the chat, you've probably seen this. If you put that you're divorced or that you broke, you're single all of a sudden, you have at least this has been my experience. You have a plethora of fake, and I know they're fake accounts, and they message you like all of a sudden there you are. And I thought when I went through my divorce, I thought, this is I could see right through it, but I'm not naive anymore. Way more naive than I want to be still, but I would see these people saying, just reaching out, wanting to friend request me, and I'm thinking, what, do you think that I'm sitting at home crying because of this status change? I'm like, do you think I'm that dumb that I'm going to answer these? I'm an engineer in, the UK. And, I'm like, yeah, sure you are. Sure you are, buddy. Um, Even then, but, you see from the kids' angle, but, Prof, a lot of people, even our age and even like older, like giving away their life savings to these romance scammers. It's the same thing. It's the vulnerability and them trying to hit a place that makes you feel good about yourself or accepted or whatever. And it's just, I mean, come on. Um, I don't know how to tell people how to be safe. I mean, I want to say use common sense, but I guess when you're that emotionally vulnerable, you want to believe it. I don't know. Have you?
Well, think about it coming how it was. I know we were going to talk about this tonight. Is kind of maybe a good way to go from here. Is like think about it how coming into YouTube, because I know the way I did it, I was totally unprepared because I came in naive like an idiot.
Me
So I
too.
think, oh, well, I'm going to do a YouTube channel. Next thing I know, death threats, shit arriving at my home, going after my children, calling
Mhm.
my police, calling my former employees, getting shit at the doorstep. You see what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's like, and same deal.
Mhm.
You've received the same.
Yeah. And
It's nuts because you come into I came into this. You may remember, like I started off with a Discord. I didn't have a channel, and I
mhm,
just had a Discord to talk to people about the case.
right.
Next thing you knew, I thought, oh, I'll do a channel and talk with my Discord members about the case. Next thing you know, it's a total shitstorm, and your life's been turned upside down, and you're being terrorized by anonymous accounts on the internet. And it takes the
Yeah.
longest to get through. Like I say, a- I know that there have been people who have done self harm because of this type of stuff.
Oh,
I
yeah.
guarantee you, because it has an emotional and a psychological effect when you're terrorizing this way.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say when I said earlier when we started, I wanted to have a discussion because and I know, like, there's some questions. I think because I wanna compare notes, I think we're very similar in the way that we think about things and the way that I mean, you are very overtly, "I don't care." I'm I try to keep it silky southern, but when I say I don't care, I mean I don't care. You don't like me? Good, go watch somebody else. I
Bye.
mean, that's fine. You know,
Surely you'll like somebody else. The internet's big.
okay, go harass them. I love I dearly, dearly love my regulars and my chat and my subscribers. They're awesome and amazing. But how do you think, and I know we've gone through this Discord and we've talked about that, but in general, how has Delphi slash YouTube, whatever, how has it changed you or has it changed you as a person?
Yes, it's made me far more pessimistic,
Mhm.
far more guarded. Uh, I like people less than I used to, and it's
Yep.
been pretty bad. And I also think I'm pretty mean with people as opposed to before. Like I've noticed, I tend to be pretty quick to respond negatively with people, and I know a lot of people who know me, they'll agree with that. So like, Prof, you'll bite a head off in a minute. It's like, yeah, we'll let you get tormented for 2 years by dumbasses on the internet and see how nice you are to every account.
It's true. It's true. I just, that's why I cover a lot of other stuff as well. Nothing as deeply as Delphi, but yeah, I think what I didn't realize, and unfortunately, this is not just from YouTube. This is also even spilled over into my personal life. Had some stuff lately, like a lot of upheaval at work, and a lot of people that it's like I thought I knew them. You think you know somebody, and then you're like, I didn't know them at all. It, hours and hours and hours and hours spent with somebody, and I did not know them. Um, but and that's kind of been the theme this past year, unfortunately. But I think that's the thing. Um, I mean, it has changed me. I am far more suspicious of everybody than I
Mhm.
ever was. I mean, if somebody is all of a sudden very nice to me, I'm going to be nice back because in Alabama, that's what we do. But that doesn't mean that's what we think. Um, it's kind of, yeah, it's a weird. Southerners are weird. I'll say that. But I'm going to be nice to your face, and but what's going on in my head might not be nice at all. And I think when somebody comes at me and they're just super sweet and super helpful and all this, now I don't take them at face value. I'm like, what do you want? In the back of my head, as I'm
Mhm.
smiling at you and saying, bless your heart, I'm like, what do you want? What do you want from me?
Well, I know I've confirmed that I'm the nicest person that I know because I mean I was so nice and normal with people, and I always thought that that's how you're supposed to be, and the internet has shown me that the absolute worst people you will ever fucking meet are right here. And
Mhm.
that's what's been a shock to me because
Yeah.
in my real life, I had never really known or had experiences dealing with people as horrible as I've encountered here.
Right.
And and that's been a real wake up call to me. It's like, damn, I didn't know there was
Mhm.
so many fucking horrible people. Hateful, evil, miserable, terrible, shitty, meth head, drunk, fucking just evil fucking people.
Yeah. And it's funny because even on my other channel, which is not really I mean, it can be controversial, and sometimes people get in a fight in the chat. So I'm like, I'm out. I'm staying out of this one. But or in the comments. But even at that, I sometimes get the weirdest comments, like criticizing my makeup, criticizing my accent, or saying, you know, you're boring, you're whatever. And I'm like, did I ask you? Like, because
You're a
seriously,
pedophile.
didn't ask your opinion, but whatever. And I don't take it down because I feel like this. The only time I will take a comment down on any of my videos is if I have a guest on and they are slamming the guest. A lot of
Mhm.
times the guest will see the comment and respond, and I'll leave that up. But if I won't tolerate that disrespect. But if you are going to say something about me, it's going to live forever on YouTube because I want everybody to know exactly who you are and how ugly you are. So I'm like, I'm not going to take it. Call me whatever you want to. Um, sometimes I look back at my videos and I agree. I'm like, yeah, that was crap.
I'm my worst critic. I'm often disappointed. But
Yeah.
no, but I'll say like oh man.
Do you think you can ever go back? I guess here's the other question. Let's say, hypothetically, we wake up tomorrow morning and there has been a confession. It's all laid out there. They free Richard Allen. We know who, the whole truth about Libby and Abby. They get justice. If we wake up tomorrow morning and that is what we're looking at, can you, and I'm not talking about quitting YouTube because I know probably like me, we'll always be talking about something, but can you go back to the person that you were? Do you think that's possible?
I'd have to leave YouTube. Yeah. I'd have to leave the internet. I think I could, but I could never be on this internet. Like I'd have to totally leave and probably take 3 to 5, let's say 2 to 3 years to
Mhm.
just like go back to the person I was.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can't see it like it cuz it's sort of a survival strategy, you know?
it
It's like
is.
yeah.
Wasn't it? I think it was Lowlight that I was talking to sometime in the last couple of months, and maybe we did it on a live. I don't know, but he was talking about some woman who has a knitting channel. Okay, knitting. How offensive is that? And she was getting death threats.
Mhm.
I'm like,
Can I
how?
knit?
I mean, like, seriously,
Well,
what is wrong with
what gets
people?
me is like the whole thing with like you're Prof's the most evil person on the internet. Prof's the most evil person. He's ruining Delphi. He's a cyber stalker. And I'm like, really? Uh periodically for every 10 times you aggress me, I might say something once, or I might do something once, or maybe it might take 50 times to fuck with me and I respond once. And what
Mhm.
they do is you respond that one time and then they'll twist it and all of a sudden, look, he's evil. He's doxing women. And you're like, yeah, but you didn't say that these women have been terrorizing me for 4 to 5 months. And I
Yeah.
finally had enough. So I put their picture on the internet. But
Mhm.
suddenly I'm the one who's terrorizing women. They will twist any little thing it could be. And for me, that's been the thing that's just hardest to deal with. It's like, you guys really don't understand that I'm a nice person. Because if you can't see that I'm a nice person, what do you do with real fucking assholes and evil people?
Yeah. I mean, they probably love them. I never cease to be amazed at people who stay in unhealthy relationships where they are constantly, and I'm not gonna call it again. Y'all can read between the lines. I ain't gonna call out a creator, but I know, and y'all all are aware of a creator that, in my opinion, abuses his subscribers and chats. You know,
That's all you
calls
have to
them all
say.
kind of stuff and says, "Okay, if I don't get so much money by this time, tonight, I'm done." And I'm like, I'm not an abused wife. I'm not an abused, woman.
I don't
And
like
like,
the
look,
abuse, dude.
let me tell you something. I wish I could take money out of your bank account for that. you
I
know,
should charge you for watching this shit.
yes, yes, for paying you. I'm like, I think this is harassment, but yet people pour money into this creator. And what I don't understand is why. What kind of mindset do you have that you think it's
Yeah,
okay for
we're
somebody
gonna
to
look at
treat
some
you like that?
maps right now. I got some Google Maps up. Let's pull up a Google map and just look at it for a while.
I know, I know. And I think I've watched clips of that because I was trying to hear an old interview with certain people from Delphi. Hold on, my focus is out again. But but other than that, I think I turned it on one time early in my researching Delphi. I'm like, okay, you put it in, and I didn't know who anybody is. I get on this live stream, and I'm like, what? I'm like, I thought it was a joke.
Is this a
I
real thing?
literally did. I thought it was like a comedy. I thought I am watching a parody, right? I literally thought this was a joke. And I'm into it about 20 minutes. And I'm like, you know what? I don't think this guy's kidding.
No.
Oh my God. What is wrong? And then I'm looking at the chat and I'm thinking, what is wrong with y'all? What is wrong with
But
y'all?
see, I think this is part of the problem too, because often when I receive all this criticism that I just find is so irrational, I think I'm like, well, what do they fucking expect? Like,
Mhm.
what do you expect Vinnie Politan? Like, are you expecting you got a certain archetype? So say it's Vinnie Politan. So, okay, is everybody supposed to be Vinnie Politan? Or let's say you. So it's a
Yeah.
female, it's supposed to be Nancy Grace. If it's a male, it's supposed to be Vinny. So we got Nancy and Vinny. So every true crime creator has to be Nancy or Vinny. Is that where we are?
I
Because I
mean,
know like they'll criticize your accent. That's what makes you silky. I love silky. You say silky type of shit. I love the shit. Like that's the thing. Like that's why I constantly say, uh, if you don't like what I'm doing, why in the hell are you here?
right.
Like, there's 1,000, a million fucking channels. Like,
Mhm.
I'm not clicking on Silky if I don't want to go watch Silky. So
Right.
why do you have to make it a point to come and complain about who I am? If Silky and I were in the real world, I would like
Mhm.
Silky for being Silky. And so
Yeah.
I know, hey, if I see Silky, I'm going to see Silky. If I run into Silky in a grocery store, it's going to be Silky. And if I go to Silky's house, it's going to
Right.
be Silky. If she comes visit me, it's always going to be Silky.
Right.
But they have this expectation for you to be someone who you are not, and that to me, that's the ultimate delusion. It's like, dude, people are people. And I know one thing in my life: if there are people I don't like, I stay away from them,
Mhm.
and that's just even family members. And
Yeah.
that's just a natural thing,
Especially family members. Um,
especially family.
yeah, it's like, yeah, okay. But yeah, that's exactly it. And I mean, I'm not everybody's cup of tea. And actually, somebody put that on one of my early videos. You're not my cup of tea. And I was like, okay, well, you could have just
Did you think of
scrolled
that all by
past without
yourself,
telling me,
person?
but I guess you think I'm gonna cry myself to sleep. But that's the thing, Prof. I think how we survive, you and I, is that we know who we are. Okay, I don't have any misconceptions. I know my shortcomings. I don't think that I am the best thing since sliced bread, but I do know who I am, and your opinion of me does not change my opinion of me. So, I mean, you have to, I
Well, I
think if
mean,
you're gonna be
yeah.
on YouTube, you gotta have that mindset.
And we would not have made it. Like I know you work in a correctional facility.
Mhm.
So you deal with bullshit all day. And
all day,
I
every day.
worked for 20 years in public schools.
Yeah,
So I had to work, I had to do a
yeah,
lot of bullshit all day. So,
it's
I
almost
mean,
the same thing,
luckily we're tolerant to dealing with bullshit.
right?
It's the reason we
Absolutely.
survived.
Yeah. And I mean, if I do something wrong, I only apologize for things that I've done that I didn't mean to do that hurt somebody, and I will try to make it right. But if you don't accept that apology, you know, I'll try until I'm like, okay, I'm done trying. Yeah, heck with you. But I'm not going to apologize for my accent. I'm not going to apologize for my opinions and my thoughts.
Not
They're mine.
apologizing for the man bun. It's intentional. No, it's like I think of how like how was I gonna say? Like I got distracted by the chat, but
See, I want to keep up with the chat. I
yeah,
haven't.
love to see you laughing, Prof. Thank you. Um no guy I was gonna say they like to say things like you use your weapon, your platform is a weapon. No, only against the killers of Abby and Libby and the people participating in the cover up of their murders. That's all I
Right.
give a shit about. You think I care about you? Like, that's not why I'm here. And
Hmm.
listen, when this is all kind of done or when it's a downtime, I'll talk about other things that upset me, you know. Like it's
Oh,
not
you
about
thought you hated
you,
me in
viewer.
Delphi? Just wait.
Critter
Yeah.
Mama says love Silky.
Oh, thank you, Critter
Social
Mama.
media brings out all the keyboard warriors that
Hmm.
think they need to say everything they think and can't handle facts. Yeah, it's true. It's true. And this is what I always mean about look, I'll always, even the assholes, I'll respect the assholes that show their face. I really do
Yeah.
because the ones that really are that I give the least respect to are the ones hiding. And there's so many who hide behind these fake accounts. I always think, what a pussy you must be that you can't even like be man enough to go
Yeah.
and terrorize people using your own face and
Hmm.
voice, whatever.
Yeah. It's easy. It's easy to do that when you're typing and hidden. That is that's what we call, like a yellow bellied coward. Uh
You yellow belly sapsucker coward
yeah,
bastard.
exactly. That's old yellow belly there. You want to attack me from your keyboard and your, whatever. Oh, whoo, let me be scared. Um, yeah, that's ridiculous. And again, you can think what you want. I like to get along with people, and I talk to, you know, a lot of my subscribers, and have different methods of reaching me. And I love to have conversations with them and see how they're doing. We're not talking about Delphi. We're just talking about your life, your kids, what's going on with you. Um, I love it. I love talking to people, but they're my people. They're my people. And if you're not my person, that's okay. Because sometimes Prof, I turn on the live stream and they may have some really good information. So I watch their videos and I think this person is very intelligent and I like what they're saying. I like their research, but I'm not feeling a vibe. I'm just like we're just different people. That it's not that they're bad. I don't vibe with them. And that's okay. A lot of people don't vibe with me. So, please, but, by all means, you must type, I do not vibe with you. You suck. And put it up on a comment because I guess that makes
You
you
know what
feel
else I
better.
think people get so they get this tunnel vision. Remember what I was telling you today how I'm very well aware of what I don't know because for instance, every once in a while, say I don't know, every week or two, I'll find another creator that I come across who I've never fucking heard of. And
Hmm.
it's like, oh, this guy's got 75,000 subs.
Hmm.
Hmm. And then I'll find another one. Oh, this one's got 750,000 subs. Hmm. And I
Hmm.
think, wow, geez. And I've never, ever heard of them ever until today.
Right.
And then I think, okay, so you're over here terrorizing the prof, you
Mhm.
know, day after day after day after day after day after day after day, as if I'm the only person on the internet. And even I, every week, am discovering other people who I've never discovered. And I mean, amazing creators. I watched
Right.
an interview last night for a 3 hour live stream interview with the cop. And I was watching the thing and I was like, how did I never know this channel?
Right.
And that shows you how big this whole arena is. But we get this tunnel vision of Delphi and of what we know already, and
Mhm.
people fixate. And I'm at the point where I'm like, stop fucking fixating on me. I don't care about you people. Like, I'm going to do what I'm going to do until I don't. And
Yeah.
so,
Until the day I don't want to. That's when
right.
I'll do what
Or
I do
they'll
because
say,
I'm out.
I'll take your channel down. Go ahead. Go ahead. And guess what? The next day, I'll start a new one and I'll say, hey,
Mhm.
everybody, I'm back. Come subscribe. And everybody will come right on back. Like,
Right.
come on, man. It's there are literally like you're missing days playing baseball with your kids. You're missing days going enjoying a bike ride and enjoying your day. Like, live a little.
Yeah.
There's
I
more than Delphi here.
yeah, there is. And I mean, I I think I told you on the phone earlier, I never want to be as emotionally involved. Because Delphi definitely, to me, it wasn't just a crime. It did Delphi did something to me that no crime case. And look, I've studied true crime my whole life. I love
Mhm.
it. Um, and there are cases that I'm fascinated with, but they haven't affected me emotionally like this one. And I've heard other people in the chat say this. I will never go as deep into a case as
Mhm.
I am in Delphi. And I agree. I never want to do that either. Um it's too much. But I mean, but some of us, we're just the lucky ones, Prof, that uh we got all caught up in Delphi and all emotionally involved, and now here we are. And
I'll keep telling the truth. I mean,
me too.
people don't like it, but my only agenda is tell the like I look at it like this. Why would I be here? Like why? As far as talking about two little girls who were murdered. Like why would I be talking about two little girls who were murdered if I'm not going to tell the complete truth about it?
Right.
No holds barred. Like because it's two little girls and then so like if I yeah maybe if I'm talking about something else it's not two little girls, I'll do other things, but as long as I'm
Mhm.
talking about two little girls who were murdered and they're not here to talk about it, then I might as
Right.
well show the respect of like just being completely like nothing to lose here.
Right.
And I
Right.
think that's where people don't get it. It's like, what do you fucking think I'm doing here?
Yeah. I mean, it's always nice to have a lot of people in chat. It's nice to have support as far, even just the people that always show up for you. It's great to have that support. But at the end of the day, as much as I care more about justice in this case. And that is, if I was talking to an audience of myself, I would still say the exact same things. Actually, if I was talking to just like if I had only my own views on my video, I would probably be way more harsh than I actually am.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I would be, yeah, I would be different. But I try to tone it down knowing that everybody's different, but that's just me. And it's a southern thing. Um, but yeah,
Try to
I
be
don't
nice, but yeah. Hmm.
yeah. But don't mistake southern people. We're nice. Oh, we're nice, we're polite. But we also know how to gut a catfish uh with our bare hands. So don't mistake our sweetness for weakness. So there you go. That's the truth about
I like
southern
what
women.
Tony's saying here, and I agree. Yeah, those girls were silenced. Look, this is why I say when I'm here for Abby and Libby, what I mean by that is they're
Mhm.
not here to say what happened to them or speak for
Right.
themselves. So, what else are we doing here? Come on, man.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the
And
only
and I
thing.
said I talked to a prosecution guilt her the other day, and I said to her, I was like, I was like, really? You think justice was served? I says, how is that justice? That, like, for me, justice would be that they rest in peace. That, in other words, the outcome of this process for justice would be such that everyone would be satisfied and say, you
Right.
know what? Now we can let those girls rest in peace because justice has been achieved.
Mhm.
But I mean, anyone who's at all honest with themselves, like even a little, has to acknowledge that there were way too many questions with this trial for Richard Allen
Mhm.
to be confident that it was that the right thing was done and that justice was served. Therefore, justice is not served because
Right.
who knows if this is overturned and appeal is granted and a new trial, then you're putting the families through the whole thing over again. Is that justice for the families? Like
No.
there's a lot of
Yeah.
the way this was done in this way, it's not finality. And it's not I don't think it is justice because
No.
you've left everyone upset and unsure. And so those girls, like, it's going to be years more of this. And so we better I'm just of the opinion I'd rather figure it out now. How can we deal with moving forward when we know, at least with Richard Allen, we'll have years more of this?
Right.
Can't we move forward like in a
Yeah.
sane fashion?
Because, the victim count, and I certainly not to the degree that Abby and Libby endured, but what you have done in this case, people, law enforcement, and others, is you've created more victims. So you've got Richard and Kathy Allen. They're new victims to this case. We're relatively new. And I mean, then you have all the creators that have been harassed and doxxed and uh, swatted. all that. All you've done is create more victims in this
And
case.
we have
There's
dead
no justice.
individuals. Like there's zero doubt we have a couple dead individuals or
Yes.
few, and there may even be two or three times more that we don't
Hmm.
know about yet. But
Right.
there's at least several individuals who are dead behind this. And how do you think those girls would feel? Like, oh, some have died following this case.
Yeah. Exactly. And all the turmoil. Yeah, it's just like the victims list just grows um in other ways. And it's like that's why it's hard to shut up about it even when there's no new news. It's you know, even when people ask me a simple question about Delphi, well, what do you think? Like, look, I start talking for 20 minutes and I know they just, feel like their ears have been blown off, but because I can't say something simply about Delphi because I'm going to have to go into bec- I believe this because of this, 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 and this, and what you don't know is this, this, and this, and I can see the expression on people's faces, like I wish I had never asked this question, but I that is so ingrained in me that when I start talking Delphi, I just even the same things I've said 100 times. It's like I feel the need to say them again
Mhm.
until there's a resolution. So here you are.
Yeah, and you called this, so you're calling this online predators. And so that I think it's important to say because for me, I look at this case in two ways with Delphi. I look at it like perhaps it was initiated with online predators, you know, because we still don't know that. Like, how do you know that Keegan Klein or Dropbox or some kind of pedophiles in that area didn't target these girls? It's still
Mhm.
unknown.
Right.
And then I look at the post murder scenario where now for 7, 8 years, the whole community has dealt with online predators in terms of trolls, terrorism, harassment, swatting, doxing. So I've always said that this case has been social media from day one, and I mean that I think that from day one or even before day one there was online predator activity or social media predation, and I think to this very day it remains the same that they're online predators are
Right.
criminals who are still terrorizing this community. And I'll never think differently. This
Yeah.
whole case is a whole bunch of online predators, or, different people use different words.
And I mean, yeah, I have a lot of questions about the whole Kagan Klein thing. I mean, I understand that, more than one person was likely using some of those devices, but at the same time, I'm like, what are the odds that somebody from this phone talks to Liberty that day and then she ends up, you know, unalive? The odds on that are so astronomical.
Astronomical. Yeah. Yeah.
And so, but LE, they spent years letting Kagan not be in jail. And then, and not really, I think they were trying, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, okay? So, no slander here. It's my opinion only. I think it took so long because they had to undo the ties to Kagan from Delphi. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
They
you
had
mean
to
for a
run
cover up
interference.
as part of
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
hiding? Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, that I've said so many times, and I'll yell this from the rooftops. I believe Discovery was sanitized, meaning
Hmm.
when those 70 days are deleted, like 70 days are because you knew you had a sequential recording, so you knew that those 70
Right.
days are missing. But you don't know how much Discovery is missing, because if that gets deleted with the delete button, you don't fucking know. Or if some
Right.
DNA ends up in the trash bin, you never know because it's never logged in or so. So I think that Discovery is sanitized. And I
Hmm.
believe, yeah, possibly these ties to, if there was a Keegan tie. I just think, like you said, what are the odds that two separate predators would target these girls like in the
Hmm.
same date at the same time? It's
Right.
astronomical.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, who was using the phone? Was it Kagan? I don't know. It might not have been. But but then here is where my thought goes. I think the reason they had to get rid of, and like you said, sanitize it, is because th- any kind of interference or tying that would blow the whole operation. You
Hmm.
know, it blows the whole income, if you know what I'm saying. The whole nefarious ring of trafficking things or substances. And I think it was a lot of people were in both. That's my opinion. It's like Delphi. There's not that many people, okay? You're going to have, you know, you're going to have laps and, people lapping over
Hmm.
each other. So you have to disentangle Kagan to put it on somebody else. And I think that's why it took so much time because, I mean, they knew about him within a few days. Like, it wasn't
Hmm.
long before they knew who Kagan Klein was. But, nobody else did. Like, the other people, this wasn't, a thing. It was after a couple of years. And then everybody's like, oh, well, Kagan did it. But I think they had already cut the lines, divided them so that he couldn't be. Yeah, it's astronomical, but we have no direct links. And like that 70 days, you couldn't just, like, let's say they interviewed, Daisy Smith at the grocery store who happened to be in the area, and that was on day 14, but on day 13 and day 15 they had some really important things. Like, you can't just pick and choose, oh well, the cameras weren't working this day, but they were working that day.
Right. So you
Well,
have to.
you have to have a big block and say,
And I
"Oh,
think,
wow."
and we know there were two of those, and I thought the exact same thing, Silky. You had two separate chunks of time that were wiped out, which tells me there were probably a couple few interviews in each of those chunks of times that
Mhm.
they're like, these tie back to the real killers or the real situation, so we gotta nix this right now, and they
Right.
nixed it, and then they went in discovery, and they probably nixed some discovery, and then that's why Christine and Erica and Baldwin and Hoffman and the whole fucking defense, they don't know shit because it's all been disappeared. You
Yeah.
ain't gonna solve the crime that way. that's where this whole, this whole kerfuffle lately of the post conviction investigation, and people are all up in arms because there's truth to the statement. There needs to be an entirely new post conviction investigation that's that's comprehensive and in depth, but actual professionals. And I would say former FBI, former U.S. Marshals, and these types, people who can actually do the job like no one else.
Yeah.
And it's going to be an immense undertaking. And that's the only thing that's I could possibly see ever like getting to the bottom of this, because I just don't see your standard discovery that's
Mm-mm.
been already been fucking manipulated solving the problem.
Yeah. So, I mean, in that regard, I mean, you have to wonder, will justice for Abby and Libby ever be possible, even if Richard Allen goes free at some point, which we hope. But, you know, with that, and let me say this, I always smile when you use the word kerfuffle. I forget that word, and I love that. I like, it's the kind of word I would just go around saying kerfuffle. You know,
I actually
but
don't like it. I think
it's
it's I
kerfuffle.
think it's like a
I love it. I love that word, but I forget to use it. I've got to
uh
remember. Put that in your brain, Silky. But yeah, the big kerfuffle. I don't know. Now I begin to wonder, unless we had a well, I'm out of focus
you got
again.
blurry.
I know. I'm way out of focus. Uh
There you go.
but yeah, I have to wonder now, if unless we had a confession of someone who was there who could validate
Well,
everything, I
see,
mean, can we ever expect to know the
that's my
whole
thing. That's my
story?
thing. The only way this will ever, I believe, the only way this will ever be solved is if the community tells the fucking truth. Somebody in that community or several have to come forward
Mhm.
after all these years and start telling the fucking truth, because I have always shamed that community for saying, you what kind of community eats its own children or covers up the
Right.
murders of two of its own children. And I
Right.
hate to be so crude, but I just feel that I'm very upset with the community, because I think some in that community absolutely know, and they've zipped their lips, because I don't know if they're terrified, if they're covering up for
Probably.
relatives, whatever it is. That community needs to solve this crime.
Yeah. It's one of those things that, you know, I want to see Richard Allen have a fair trial. Um, I think if he had a fair trial, he would be innocent. I want justice for him, but it's one of these things, Prof, that I wonder if, like, when you look at these cases on in the news or on the internet, that somebody 30, 40 years from now, you know, when nobody cares and all the important people that covered it up are dead, they're going to say, oh well, on their confessional before they die, well, I
Mhm.
was part of this. I mean, it might be one of those cases that takes literally decades for somebody to feel comfortable in telling the
Mhm.
truth, and I think that's horrible. It's not fair to Abby and Libby, um, and I certainly don't want to be talking about this in 30 years.
No, no, and I believe so. So I have this inkling that this could be a satanic cult affiliated murder, and
Oh, I do
so
too.
I therefore I've been studying prior satanic cult affiliated murders, and there's this one detective from New York, and he's retired, and he had studied this case that was satanic uh, affiliated murder, and by the time it all got where he had a source that started feeding him the truth. His source was named Tiny. Okay, so Tiny started giving him some details. Well, it was a biker gang that had satanic affiliations, and by the time Tiny started talking, pretty much everybody was dead.
Yeah.
You know, so like that's what I'm looking at with this group. Is are we going to be in a situation like you say where it's 15, 20, 30 years from now and people start talking, but now everyone they're talking about has already died, so now it can't be prosecuted because yeah, like, now we know we got a whistleblower that's saying it's this one, this one, this one were involved,
Mhm.
but they are dead, and they're all dead now. And then, you know, I just think there's more to this, and that it would only take a brave person to step forward. Because, you know, the thing I feel about these types of things is especially, you know, people have said in this town, anytime anyone's researched the connections and people say, well, you know, this one's connected to this one, or this one's related to this one, and they say, well, you know, it's just a town of 3,000, so everybody's connected. And I'm just
Mhm.
like, yeah, well, there's truth to that.
Yeah, sure
Yeah,
there is.
there is truth to that. But at the same time, you know, not everybody is connected to the actual murderers of these girls. And I'm not even of I'm in a position where I'm open to any possibility. So I think whether it be family, whether it be Richard Allen, whether it be Keegan Klein or anybody else, I don't put it past anybody, because all I know is
Right,
I wasn't there that day. So,
right.
you know, I have an open-ended theory that this is deep. People know what happened. People need to talk about what happened, need to feel comfortable to talk about what happened. And and it's probably going to be locals, and so it's going to take some locals to tell on or talk about some other locals. And I don't know, it's this is so complicated that I truly think that there's no I don't think there's a digital solution forensically. I don't think there's a DNA forensic solution. I think there's a human intelligence or a human source solution, and it would just take some people who know to step forward and put an end to it, to this.
Yeah. I lost my mouth. Oh, there it is. Um, and I mean, I can imagine at the time that people talk, and we're both solid gray, and half blind and deaf, still up in here talking about it. I don't want
Yeah.
that. But you know, by then you'll be shaking your cane at people, Prof. I told you 30 years
Look, if I'm
ago.
still talking about this when I'm gray, I need to find another job, because this, I don't want to be talking about this in 5 years even.
Yes. Yeah, I don't either. But I still do want justice. But I told you the only other case that I am emotionally involved in, and I stay away from it on purpose, is Boys on the Tracks,
Hmm.
because it is like a mirror of Delphi, in a lot of respects. And this took place in the late 70s. And now, um, I think it was either 70s or 80s. I can't remember now, but long time ago. But many books have been written on it. The people, they know who the people are. So many people, so many of the witnesses were unalived immediately, within the first year. And but now the ones that the perpetrators are still walking around, not
Hmm.
all of them because it's been so many years, but people know who was involved, and yet they never faced any consequences, even though some later witnesses who were hidden for a while came forth and told the whole story of what happened. It's
Hmm.
out there. But again, it took decades before anybody was able to tell the story and survive, you know. Um,
Yeah, and I feel there's a lot. I mean, I'm glad you mentioned that one, because, you know, I'll say to any of the people, any of the guilters who say there's no way that the cops are corrupt, or there's no way that the prosecutor's corrupt, it's a perfect case in point. Look at Boys on the Tracks.
mhm,
If you don't think that a few cops in important positions, the perfect positions, can be corrupt, or the prosecutor can be corrupt or colluding with them, and or some politicians, if you don't think really important people can be corrupt, go look at that case, because
right.
there's a potential, and I think it's a good possibility, that what we're dealing with in Delphi is very similar. I mean,
Mhm.
look, it's no doubt, there's zero doubt whatsoever. Judge Diener should have never signed that
No.
safekeeping order that put uh, Richard Allen in this hellhole of
Mhm.
Westville, because he authored the fucking request for Lesaby. Lesaby perjured himself in the whole deposition,
Mhm.
or affidavit about that.
Yes.
And then, you know, the judge obviously crossed the line on several occasions with her actions,
Mhm.
and possibly the prosecutor too. So for me, it's like for anyone to look all of that, and then to have you had Tony Liggett say that there was a phrase uttered on that recording, which was "that be a gun," and
That
we
still
all have all
cracks me
heard
up.
it for ourselves now, and we absolutely know that was not said. So that's a perjure, or that's a
Mhm.
misrepresentation to the jurors or to the judge. And then we also had who was the other one I was trying to get towards O'Brien Harshman say there's 61 confessions plus, and then now that we have it all, we realize no, there's not 61 confessions plus.
Yeah.
There's a few, and everything else was a gross misrepresentation.
Mhm.
And he also was able to sit there and say to the jury that his opinion was that the voice on the recording matches Richard Allen, and he that's not even his field or his subject matter. So there was so much with this case that you have to look at it and wonder, like, how is this even allowed in our modern America? Like, this is the USA, the God bless America, that everything we ever taught to pledge allegiance to the flag and look at the stars and stripes, and we were taught to love this country for freedom and for justice. And look at what happened here, and it's obvious this should not be happening in 2025 or 2024. Ain't no way. Ain't no way.
No.
And I don't see how these guilters can even accept that. Like you've got to be able to acknowledge the guy was railroaded at a minimum.
Yeah. I mean, it's so obvious, and uh, I don't even want to start down that rabbit hole. Y'all all know my opinion on so many of the points of that, but I wondered, Prof, if and I don't like to entertain this thought. I really don't. But if everything goes south and we don't get the justice for anybody that we are fighting so hard for, what happens? Like, how do you think that would change you? Would you give up YouTube? Would you give up advocacy? I mean, where do you think will happen will happen to us emotionally, psychologically, if we can't get any justice?
Oh, nothing for me. I'm going to keep telling the truth. I look at it like this: like we've been blessed. So the way that I look at it is this platform. Like you and I grew up. I know I grew up, and surely you would have too. I had a clicker TV, and maybe there
Oh
were like 10 channels or 11.
yeah,
Those old TVs with the
yeah, I'm old.
console. They were made like a dresser. And you like
Hmm.
click, 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 and you get through all
Yeah,
10 or 11 channels, and then you're back to two.
right.
So I
Those
remember
are
the
the
day
days.
and age when your only options were like two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10, and maybe
Mhm.
zero. And then and now to think that we're in an age where we can sit here and broadcast ourselves to the entire world in a way where before we would have had to be hired by NBC to be on a
Right.
particular specialized spotlight, or maybe we would have had to be like Art Bell and get become a legend in radio and
Yeah.
broadcast out. And for me, I'll never stop because I think like if I can tell the truth, no matter what forget about the outcome, just to be a voice of truth and transparency. And so I don't, I could have 20 people here, I could have 2,000. It doesn't matter to me because if I can sit here and just be genuine with the world, and whether they like it or not, it doesn't matter. Um, so, like you say, Delphi over and 10 years from now, it doesn't matter to me because it's like the modality is still the same. We have this weird place and time when we have freedom to speak on an open platform that can go out anywhere to the world, and you never know who that's going to mean something to. and
Yeah.
um and when you were talking about the discords and how negative they were, I will acknowledge that, but I'll like what I've looked at as far as the positive side has been how, despite all the negative, like the I would say they could be 10 or 20 or 100 negatives, But if I have one person that I match up with positively and
Mhm.
is like a good back and forth type of relationship, I look at that as outweighing that negative. So
Yeah.
since I've
Yeah.
been here long enough, I've had a lot of that start to come my way. And I look at it like, wow, I got a lot of really good people that I've connected with in this past year or so who I would not have otherwise. So I look at that as a big thing too, because Delphi or not, I'm still encountering really good, smart, helpful people. And we're not all the same, but like I told you earlier, I said everyone has their strengths and weaknesses. And I look at
Mhm.
like what are people really good at? Because if somebody's special at something and that's something I'm not, then that's something to be valued. And
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely. I don't know, I guess I wonder sometimes, and I do talk about other things, but I wonder sometimes the if things went wrong, would I just give up on people? Because I mean, sometimes sometimes I have that thought. Is anybody listening? Does anybody care? Is there any advocacy for justice? Can anything be done? You know, sometimes maybe it's just a low day. I certainly always have the spirit to fight for justice or advocate for something. Um, but I don't know. It's like, how long could I do this and watch, the world burn? I don't know.
Mm, I don't know.
I
I know
guess.
this when I go live, I just love my chat. So, I've said that to my closest friends. I was
Mhm.
like, despite all the bullshit and all the hate and all that, I know this when I go live and my chat comes in, it is one real thing. It's something I
Yes.
love because I'm like, man, the
Yeah.
chat is not, I mean, as far as this particular YouTube platform, I mean, if it wasn't, I've said it before, if it wasn't for the chat, I wouldn't do it. The
Yeah.
chat is the only reason I do it.
I like doing videos on subjects, and even my strange channel. But I that's the only reason I do lives, and that's the only thing that keeps me going. And I know my people have wondered where I'm at because haven't done much the last couple of weeks, and I'll talk about it sometime soon. But it has nothing to do. It's just all in my personal life. But that is the one thing. Even when I say I am so sick of Delphi, I am so sick of all of this. I'm so sick of the stress and whatever that goes on, and I don't do anything for a few days, or I don't do anything for a week, and I'm like, "Pfft, I'm done." I start wondering, not about the case, but I start wondering about, I think of the names in my chat. I'm like, I wonder who that, wonder how Samantha's doing. I wonder how Pam's doing. I wonder how Four Pits is. Like, is he okay? I start wondering about all these people, and I miss them. I genuinely miss them. So sometimes I go live and I really don't have anything to say. I'm, talking about some kind of news thing, but it's not because I'm a huge advocate even for that all the time. I just like to see my people and say, "Hey, how you doing? I
Mhm.
miss you. I really, really miss you." So I guess that is, if anything keeps me doing this, that would be it. Absolutely.
Mhm. And that's what I love here. Like, I kind of made it a thing now where like I don't have a set schedule necessarily, but I think my viewers they know that several days a week in the evening time I'll be here,
Yeah.
and especially on Fridays. So I think they kind of look out. It's like we know, like if I'm gone for 2 weeks, something's wrong, you know,
Yeah.
because basically every 5 days or four or three or two, I should kind of be around. So if it goes more than a week or two and I'm not
Mhm.
around, and that's what I do with my chat too. If I start seeing someone who's missing, I start
Yeah.
worrying like, oh, I wonder where this one is or that
Right.
one. And so I've liked that kind of flow with mine where I know that, whether I like it or not, or feel good or bad, I know that at least a few days a week I'll kind of be around. And Shibby's like that bad smell. Uh, and you're like, what is that? And he's following you around. So Shibby's here regardless. So when Shibby's not around, then I get really worried because I'm like, oh my God, it's a Saturday and Shibby's not around. Where the hell?
Yeah. See, I think that about Four Pits because I know he's said a lot of things, said a lot of things. And so if I don't see him, if I see him in your chat, I'm like, okay, I'm good. He's fine. I have a lot of friends on here who have had serious health problems. So if they're not here, then I'm like,
Hmm.
are they okay? How are you doing? And then just people that they just they're so smart and they're so supportive. And you might think when you're in a chat, oh, well, they don't really pay that much attention to me. But look, we do. We do. And even we see you there. And even if, we're looking at it, we're not really discussing a comment, like we see you and we miss you. If you're consistently there and then you're not, we wonder because you never know because people come in here with all kind of names and most of you I don't know what your real name is, where you live, if you were in some kind of accident, did like tonight, did a tornado blow through your county? You know we don't know. So yeah, it means the world and it is truly the only thing that keeps me going. And I don't think I never intended to do a live stream, Prof. That was not when I started both of my channels. I was like, I am not a live stream person. And the reason is and
Uh oh.
because I am notorious. You could ask my in real life friends. I'm notorious for don't put her on a speakerphone. And like when you're if I call you, don't put me on speaker. Like, sometimes you can't hear you, whatever. I put speaker people on speaker a lot because I'm doing something and there's nobody else around. But like if there's other people around, don't put me on speakerphone. And I'm notorious for saying whatever
Uh oh.
paraphrased of going live because I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I can control what I say, what I think. Um, I just the internet lives forever. And that's what I keep telling myself. The internet lives forever. I do not want to put anything out there. So I had to really, kind of learn how to behave in public.
Not me. I just do it. But it was funny. The funniest thing, Silga, and I'm going to tell my trolls this a secret tonight because I guess they just don't get it. Uh, there's so many times when I go off, and I'm like, okay, what I'm about to say right now is going to be so off the charts. Like I know they're going to clip it, so I'll just sit here and I'll be like, okay, and then I let it loose, and I'm like, watch, $100, they fucking clip it, and in the next few days, there's a little 30-second clip of just this moment, and I damn near do it damn near every other live stream these days, and sure enough, I've never failed. Every time I do it, like they're gonna clip it, you know. And that's a talent I have. I don't even think Snay has it. Snay will say shit he doesn't realize he's gonna be clipped, but I'll say shit with the intention for it to be clipped, and sure enough, it always happens. And
I think that's hilarious. I do.
it's like
Um,
trolling the trolls in reverse orders.
yeah, yeah.
I'll give you
Um,
something to clip, bitch.
clip this.
Clip this,
That's a great way to look
and
at
that'll
it.
be one, by the way.
Oh my God.
Notorious Silky. That's how we can be each other. Yeah.
Oh yeah. But I'm involved with a lot of things in my community and so I am known around here and because of that I put a bridle on my my online And even sometimes in person, depends on where I'm at. I have been notoriously bad, even in very proper places. Um, and I'm not even going to go into some of the shenanigans I have pulled. Y'all would not believe it. I promise you, you wouldn't believe it if I told you. But but there are people who know me, and they absolutely those are the people that say, "Yeah, don't put her on the speakerphone." And so because of that, um, I was terrified of the whole live stream, and I didn't realize, because I was at that point, I was just thinking about myself. Like, I'm gonna get on there, and I'm gonna say something really bad, and it's gonna be like clipped forever and shown to all of my friends and my church friends and my relatives, and
Oh my
they're
god,
gonna say,
you
"Who's that?"
got Prof cursing like a sailor. Yeah.
So I'm like, but I didn't realize the perks of the live stream is it has nothing to do with me. It is everything to do with y'all people in chat, and I love
Mhm.
it.
I keep
So
pulling them up, like so many awesome comments. No, but I always laugh because see, I've never said it. I've never. There's some things I'm just not going to give the fucking trolls, but I have some favorite YouTubers, you know, and one of my favorites. Trust me, if you heard that guy, you would blush and you would never return to YouTube because that guy is so off the charts. So anytime I think I'm going nuts, it pales in comparison. Like I'm like a 1 and he's a 10. Uh so yeah, I just no matter how rowdy I get, I'll never be that guy cuz it's off the charts, but if that guy can be on YouTube for all these years and be off the charts and saying what he says and as loud as crazy as he is, then I know, look, I can be on here and be the prof and not be booted off the YouTube. But the trolls don't want to think. They want to think, oh, we're gonna mass report your videos and get rid of you and you need gone. Yeah, not gonna happen.
see, I don't understand this, Prof, because and you're not the only person that I've noticed this about. Um, but you're totally yourself, and you don't care, and that's to me that's admirable. Um, but I have to live here in the South, so I can't
Did you
misbehave that
hear
bad.
about Silky and
Bless
what she
your
said
heart.
Wednesday night?
I know.
Girl.
I saw you. As a matter of fact, what was it I did? I did something. And when I walked into church, and it wasn't like it was a mistake. I didn't mean to. But when I walked into church the next Sunday, I don't even know what channel it was on, when or what it was, but it was caught forever. And the one of the pastors said, "I saw that video." And I was
Oh
like,
no.
"Oh my god, I didn't even know you knew I had a channel." Yeah, I'm like, well, oh, I'm blurry again. But yeah, the one thing I've noticed, yeah, you and some other people can say all these kind of stuff on YouTube, and I say, look, a couple months ago, I reported, okay, and I gave my opinion, and I reported on something on X that it was a doctor or somebody saying something, people who seemingly have some kind of credentials. I was reporting on it, and I got very much like, this is your warning. Do this again, and we're taking your channel down. You can't talk about that. I'm like, well, I don't understand, because I've watched videos on YouTube about these same subjects, and people are saying all kind of stuff, whatever they want to. That's how I knew from between YouTube and X. And I'm like, how am I getting this? You're going to bother me, my tiny little channel, for saying something. How did you even know? I said that. And yeah, for 3 months, I was on both of my channels were,
Oh no. You got disciplined.
I did. And and I'm sitting here thinking, I'm naming in my head, well, there's the prof, and there's all, but look at what all these people say. And you're going to come after me? Why?
Aaron says, "Wait, what?" I guess
Yeah.
she said something that was not approved, but no,
Yeah.
I mean
But I
they
mean,
it's you never know. You
I
never know with people,
you don't. And I'm like, but you know what I did realize about that? So y'all, who are in the chat or who watch this who have channels, if you have more than one channel, you can only have one AdSense account. And so the channel Silky is not my bigger channel. My Spooky Southern Tea is. And so that one that was doing very well and progressing, and that's the one that I'm make the most money from, and it's just I tell spooky stories. They're true, but whatever. And even my views went so far down. Everything went so far down. And I'm like, so I know that you are not recommending my videos because I'm not growing steadily on that channel like I had been, because my you is attached to my AdSense account. So just know, if you screw up on one channel,
Oh
it will
no.
affect your other channels. It will.
Hey everybody, please well, one of my mods on my channel, would you please put Silky Southern Tea? Okay. Put Silky's channel, put a link to Silky on my channel, and then please on Silky's channel, put a
Yes.
link to my channel. So everyone who's on the Prof, go and oh, that way. Go subscribe to Silky. And everyone who's on Silky, some come subscribe to Prof. And
Wait, no,
everyone please do that,
that
because
way.
I think maybe me and Silky would be winding it down. We have things to
Yeah.
do, but we so appreciate you being here and watching. And you guys are amazing in the chat. I'm still looking at them. Mino Dino, hellos. Heather Brown, Rhonda Holton, Snarky Sass, Amy,
Yeah.
Gretchen Allen, Sweet Dude Shibby, Rhonda Holton, Who's Her Daddy, Carla Ann, Tracy Fleetwood, Miss K, Dom S, Linda K. Johnson. Hey, you came in from New Zealand.
Okay.
Okay, and Greenlee. Everybody else here, I so appreciate you being here. I'm not going back that far, but you guys know who's here. And we appreciate you for being here. It was a
Yeah.
fun night. Hey, Nicole. And Sweet Dude Shibby says he's the worst mod ever. Oh, we got Critter Mama. Hey, Critter Mama. And hey, Court of Public Opinion. Yeah, so you guys subscribe. Let's subscribe to each other's channels.
Yeah, how did I do that? This way. It's everything's backwards on here.
I know it's
That way.
backwards.
Yes, please subscribe to Prof. And if you look, here's the thing that I can say about Prof. If you really just want to like get him wound up, because if you want to hear somebody express your own feelings, like if you have trouble putting into words, your rants, then please listen to Prof, because he will do it for you. Let's get him wound up. And hey, I'm here for it. I am. I wish that I could do that, but I don't. I don't on my channel. But
I'll
I
say
want
bad
y'all
words.
can tell y'all know, if you follow my channel, if you followed my channel for a while, you know when I'm getting upset, because I get very snarky. And that's when, if you ever hear me refer to Holman as Jer, I am mad. I am like, I'm fuming. So I keep it down, but I really wish, Prof, that I could just turn it loose like you do. But then I can't walk into church the next
I
Sunday. So
turn it loose and I try not to have my head explode, but at times my blood pressure does go up. But I've been trying to keep it more settled but these people will trigger the shit out of you. That's the thing, Silky.
well,
They, you
I'm in
know,
there, watching the replay or whatever, and I don't get to stay for the whole streams, but I'll watch, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Prof is going off, and I'm like, I'm sitting on my couch going, yeah, Prof. I'm like, tell him, get
y'all,
him,
it
Prof.
doesn't have to be this way. Hey, yeah, like I said this the other night. I said, all this anger, let's be real here. There's a lot of anger that this shit engenders in you. All this anger, it needs to be directed one place. And it ain't the Prof, it ain't Silky, it ain't anybody else on YouTube. Literally.
Right.
It's somebody sitting in a courthouse or in a prosecutor's office or in a police station,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the killers of Abby and Libby.
Right.
That's all. That anger needs to go that direction. Keep it off of YouTube.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
hide your kids, hide your wife. He says,
You know,
"Prof, get yourself."
hey, you know what? That hide your kids guy, he's only about an hour from me, I think. I don't know exactly how many
Ooh.
miles, but yeah, that was a big thing when that happened, and I wasn't on YouTube. I don't even know. I guess YouTube was in the beginning stages, maybe that I hadn't
It's
been around
old,
that long,
yeah, yeah.
and that's but all my friends, like, because I went to high school in Virginia, and then I've got friends all over the United States. That follow me on Facebook. And that's what I got my inbox, and I was tagged and everything. Oh, look at this guy from Alabama. I'm like, yeah, yeah, and actually, he's not far from me either. So, welcome to the South.
Somebody
I
in
think
here
it's
said,
hilarious.
Prof says what we're all thinking. Who said that? Christina? Christina
It's
said, Prof
true.
says what we're all thinking
Yes, you
at
do.
times.
You do.
And what
And
else is Amy
what?
said, thank you for supporting the channel. Please hit likes, comments, donations, and memberships. And also on the replay, y'all, whoever's watching a replay, leave comments down below in the replay. And
Yes, please.
yeah, we appreciate that. We appreciate you just hanging out, honestly. Omen is a Neanderthal. He's a
Did you
Wookiee.
did you call out your supporters, your super
Oh,
chats?
did I
Oh,
forget that already? Oh, Jesus. And now I don't know how to see him because of we're back on your platform. But
oh, wait, wait, wait. Let me see
listen,
if I can
we
do it.
had someone donate to the channel. So
There.
whoever donated, thank you so much.
Okay, can you see this on the side, Prof? All the colors? Is that
Yes.
coming up? Okay. I think these are super chats, and if so, you can call out.
Maybe I don't see them though.
Do you?
No, I
You don't
don't.
see the colors,
I
but
see
where the
Ninja
comments
Warrior Assassin just hit one up for $20. Thank you, Ninja Warrior Assassin. You're so sweet, and thank you for
are?
the
Yes,
support.
I can. Like, here, I'll
I don't
highlight
see
you.
any others. You can
Wait,
do them. Oh,
why are
Rebby Lee sent $20 to one of us.
yeah? And
Somehow I was unsubscribed. Thank you.
is this okay? And that's from I am.
I am. I thank you, Prof and Silky. Love both of your channels. Looking forward to the
Oh, sorry.
collaboration.
Get out faster, Prof. No,
Blame the cat.
I'm so sorry. Let me put that back up there. That was.
That was I am.
It keeps. I'll hit show, and then it doesn't come up, and then it goes away. All right, there we go.
Okay, looking forward to the collaboration. Please keep fighting, exposing. Trey, thank you so much, sweetie.
Yes.
Crazy girl.
And then we've got Revy Lee. Maybe this is on both of our channels.
Maybe Rebby Lee went to each of our channels. That was so sweet too, Rebby.
Yes.
Thank you
And
for
then we got
supporting
Keith
us.
Kellogg. Where's it? Okay, there we go.
Keith Kellogg, thank you. Director's chair with the words on set. I need one. David
David
Rogers,
Rogers.
Sheba dog with the big smile on his face, tilting his
Oh,
head.
that's the I can't
Oh,
see
that's
it. I have to see it on the yeah, thank you,
thank you,
David.
David Rogers.
Yeah.
And
And then
look, my
there's
main mod, Amy. Thank you, Amy, for sticking out. What is the word? Sticking with me, sticking
yeah,
it
we've
out,
been on for
sticking
a
it out.
long time. Thank you, Ninja Warrior.
Amy's
All right.
always here to support the main mod. She's my main mod. She's badass. And sweet dude should be says $20 holler.
How do I now I can't get back to the comments. What did I do? Oh, wait, I
I
got
don't know how to get to that. So
it's on the filter. It's on the filter. There
okay.
we go. Now I
So you
got the comment.
guys, look, I love you all so much in the chat. Thanks for being here. Silky's people, I'm glad to meet you if I haven't already. And like I said, come on to the channel. We don't bite. And maybe a lot of my viewers, if you go subscribe to Silky, that will help grow her channel. I appreciate that. And Silky, thank you again for coming on. I know it wasn't but a few days ago we talked about this. So.
Yeah, it just scheduling is, I love doing lives with you, Prof. I really do. It's just hard to work out a schedule. But I will say, are you? Let's see. Are you working on anything else that you want to tell anybody about?
Oh yes, but secrets. Uh, let's see. Today's Tuesday, so well, yeah. I got a few shows lined up, but none of them are. I guess there's one. Okay, there's one I'll talk about.
Okay.
So I have one that's coming up about Kentucky. Okay, because
Mm,
I've been working with some law enforcement in Kentucky, and I've been working on some Kentucky cases, and I got some really good special info from Kentucky. And so
Sorry.
uh, it's kind of funny because what we're finding, Silky, is we're not getting many whistleblowers from Indiana to step forward, but
Uh-huh.
we're getting people from Kentucky who are bringing forward some really alarming shit. And so,
Really?
yeah, so we got Kentucky. I guess maybe Thursday I'll do a Kentucky show featuring several really concerning cases in Kentucky and with some insider information that no one else has. And then and I'll do my Friday show, and then we're working on another whistleblower scenario for the future that I'm as soon as it happens, I'm gonna let you know because I'm gonna
Yes,
want you to
please.
watch it. Um,
Yeah,
and then we
please.
are working on a third one, which is gonna go back in time. And I have someone that stepped forward and handed me a bunch of, you and I came in like 2 years ago or so.
Mhm.
And so I have someone that was here 5 years ago. So all the things we missed out on the narrative control,
Right.
someone else has brought me a whole panorama of information on the narrative control before we even got here. So it's pretty yeah, exactly, Aaron. Kentucky is just as bad, if not worse, than Indiana, and that's what I mean. We're learning, and there's something to do with like the occult. There's some occult and meth. Sort of where this occult meets the meth. There's a lot of crime that has happened,
Mhm.
and so yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
What's up, Chevy
I'm sure.
Killer? Chevy Killer, what up? What up? What up? And Chris says, "I love you, Silky. Love your sweet, silky Southern voice."
Aw, thank you. Um, yeah, I'm interested in what you're finding out, so you're gonna have to let me know. Um, I am working on, and I know this is like completely off the wall. It's not just another reporting of the same case that you think you know. Um, I am working on a deep project. I don't know how I'm going to present it, whether it'll be a series, if I can get it all in one video. I don't think so. But I am working on the Lizzie Borden case. And I know,
Mhm.
over 130 years old. And I'm going to go out on a limb here, Prof, and I'm going to say something and I'm going to prove my point. Lizzie Borden was innocent. I know. Everybody's like, what? What? And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why. If there had been women allowed on the jury in 1893, well, in 1892, she would have never been brought to trial. But you didn't have that voice that could have explained what's so very obvious to me. Um, so anyway, so y'all who think, and even if you disagree with me, that's fine. So I'm going to be bringing that in sometime in the next couple of weeks, but it is such a deep dive that it's taken so many hours. But y'all, if you love vintage crimes, that's what I meant to do, Prof. When I started Silky Southern Tea, it was supposed to be about vintage crimes. Yet here I
I didn't
am.
know that.
Delphi.
We learn something every day.
Yeah. So, but that's going to be fun. That's going to be fun for me. That's a passion project. Um, so
Nancy Drews.
what I missed that.
She
Let me get
says there won't be any trolls on that case. All
You're
right.
right. Oh, I don't know because her being guilty is big business. It is big business. And I have a ghost story. Well, it's not a ghost story; it's a paranormal story that is true that goes along with that case. So, yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be interesting, and that's what I'm gonna do. I've decided, Prof. If I'm not talking about Delphi, I'm gonna be doing passion projects.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that is definitely one of them. And I might backtrack on Boys on the Tracks too. So you never know. I know we've been.
Heather, Chevy Killer's on the little channel for some reason. She's looking for Chevy. Chevy's on the little ass channel. Heather, go over there and catch him. Chevy Killer. Heather wants you. All right.
Yeah,
Who's
I
your daddy?
appreciate
Says I
y'all.
just watched some on that case. And JR says, I don't expect any last breath confessions or whistleblowers coming out of the woodwork for Abby and Libby. Those who know, and they're fine with it. Well, that's the disappointing part at this moment, I think. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys. So, oh, Gretchen says, didn't some new info just come out about that case?
On what case, Lizzie?
Lizzie?
I don't think so. There is a guy that actually the book that he wrote was years ago, but I just saw it on a video on YouTube, which just added some tidbits to my direction on it. Um, so there you go, Prof. 130 plus years later, there's new information. So who knows?
We,
Uh,
we might be great talking about Delphi.
they'll
Hopefully
be
not.
taking up our old videos and lives. Like, look what they said in 2023, 2024.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
they'll find that one clip of me 30 years before and they'll be like, see, he was wrong.
they'll still be trolling you.
They'll be trolling me in walkers.
Yeah,
Well, y'all, I think we're done. Me and
yeah,
Silky love you, and I love Silky, and Silky loves me, and I think we're all
yes.
just so tired. I'm tired, y'all. I ain't gonna lie. I'm hungry and tired.
Tired too. All right, thank y'all for hanging out with us. Let's do it again soon, Prof. I'm trying to figure out where I'm trying to end this, and I can't see. Dadgummit. Hate getting older. Um, I don't even know where my outro is. I have no idea. It's not even loaded up. I'll do my intro again. All right, y'all have a great and wonderful evening. Stay safe out there, especially if
And
you're in
God bless,
Indiana.
and good luck,
Yeah,
Silky. I'm glad you missed the bad weather, and we'll
yeah.
talk.
Sorry, I ghosted you during the tornado, but
We
whatever.
need a true crime nursing home, says Nancy Drew. Ah, that's your next $1 million
Oh
idea.
wow, there you go. All right, y'all have a great night, and we'll see you soon. All right, bye bye.